Hello, everybody. This is going to be the review for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I played completely through Scarlet version. Suzaku over here, the guy that I did the podcast with the last time, he completely played through Violet. I'm streaming Violet myself as of right now, but I'm not far enough to even know the differences between the two, besides, almost said the director, besides the clothing and the professor,
hmm
and that's pretty much it. I don't know what the Pokemon difference is or anything like that, but we'll be getting into that possibly, hopefully soon. So let's. For me, I'd like to start off with all the bad parts about the game. I wouldn't say the gameplay was bad, but there were parts of the gameplay that made it very difficult to play due to you would get stuck.
hmm
Did you ever encounter anything like that?
Well, for me, it's like okay. So I have a lot of things that the game's obviously not perfect, but I have a
Yeah.
comparison. I have a comparison that I think you're going to agree with, and you're going to be kind of puzzled. Breath of the Wild actually runs very good on the Switch. There's a
Yes.
couple of hiccup moments in the game, but for some reason, Scarlet and Violet run like absolute shit. Because the frame rate is awful. I'm like, why is this game runs like it's 2022 when the game came out. Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild runs better than that game.
And that came out in
Breath of the Wild came out
2016,
2017.
2017. It was
Yeah,
like the
so
Switch
it's
console release, a little delayed kind of thing, right? And it
yeah,
shows
and it's
it
unacceptable.
shows
It's
hardcore with that. I agree with
yeah,
that a lot.
I understand there's like shortcomings with the Switch, but here's the thing: Pokemon is a first party Nintendo game.
Yes.
Now, because it would make one thing, like say Doom Eternal on the Switch runs like shit, right? Because that's a
Oh,
third
that's
party
because
game.
that game has heavy graphics. Now,
Heavy, very heavy
now
graphics.
here's the thing. I do agree that they could have done much better with all the stuff. Oops, with Pokemon,
The
right?
performance,
With the performance and all that stuff by limiting to what
yeah,
we currently have with just
yeah,
a few Pokemon. Do what they did with
mhm.
Legends Arceus. Do what they did with the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Limit it to a very small
But
dex to make it to where you won't have lag, where you don't have
mhm. You know
frame rate
what?
drops or get stuck because of stuff like that, right? I mean, like,
What's weird. I have some. I'm gonna kind of finish my thought here. I mean, I'm
okay, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you because I have some things I want to say because I never really say it on anything else. So I wanted to say it on your podcast.
Yeah,
So the performance, if the game ran at least 30 frames, it would be plausible. It'd be like, okay, like it's fine, it's better than nothing. I mean, hell, you played Legends Arceus. I didn't play that game. So
that game.
you would
You need to play that game. I'm going to buy that game physically so that way I can have it as a collection. I'll let you borrow the
yeah.
game and you tell me how
Yeah.
you like it because dude, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I still think Legends Arceus is way better than Scarlet and Violet when it comes
Yeah.
to player Pokemon reaction and interaction.
Yeah. It does like I mean, the thing is about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the graphics do not look good at all. I have to That's my opinion. And the game really should look a lot better. Now the model of the characters look fine. It's just the graphics, like distant wise, it's like everything looks polygon, looks like 64 graphics. I'm like, what is this?
I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree. It is shit whenever it's within a certain amount of distance on
and
the system
I have to
on the game. I mean, like, I'm
yeah,
not gonna
and
lie. There is a reason
yeah.
for that. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say that until I get into the positive side about this stuff. But we're doing the
Yeah.
negative stuff right now.
Yeah, and on top of that, since I was streaming Breath of the Wild again, and I was like, man, can you imagine if Pokemon looked like Breath of the Wild, look like this game?
It
You'd be like,
actually
wow,
looks very similar if it's not considered it because the shell shading, right?
yeah. And I mean, Breath of the Wild looks amazing. I know we're going off topic, but it's a comparison. That's why I like to compare Breath of the Wild and this with graphically and performance wise. I'm glad I was playing Breath of the Wild again just to see like why couldn't Pokemon be like this? And this game's like 6 years old. Okay, I mean, if Pokemon ran at a better frame rate and it didn't have these weird pop in, pop outs out of nowhere and these weird glitches, which some of the glitches are hilarious, by the way.
I have only encountered one glitch my entire playthrough, which is
Yeah,
surprising from what I've been hearing. Everybody's getting
yeah,
glitches left and right, and I'm like, how come I
and
only got this one?
there's a moment where you're in a small room. You know, like when you're getting out, if you know whenever you start the game, the frame rate runs fine. But when you're in a massive area, it just dips. The frame rate just drops like 10 frames. Everything's lagging real bad. Your character's like skipping frames of animation. Like, and then the distant characters, when you're like in a bigger city, there's characters moving like 5 frames distance away. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, and they're still pretty close too. And I mean, like on the first couple episodes, you'll see and hear my reaction be like, uh, all right, Pokemon, I give up. I know I have a reason. I could see the reason, but come on. I mean, like
Yeah,
these guys are close. They're just on the other
yeah.
side of the Pokemon Center, like kind of.
And there's been people that saying, what if this Pokemon game was on the PlayStation 5 or a really good PC? Could you imagine how good this? If Scarlet and Violet on the PC with the best specs, the best graphics, everything, this would be the greatest Pokemon looking game ever made. Okay,
It would have been. The trailers made it look great, and they weren't
it
done
did.
with it. It looked
And
almost as good as
you know
what the
the sad
finished
part,
product
the
was
sad
for
part,
Legends Arceus was.
the sad part was the opening sequence of this game was amazing. With the Pokemon just roaming around, it looked like a cinematic scene, which it was. And I was like, man, why can the game look like that?
Yeah, but if you take a notice at the beginning of the game, both. Well, it's less noticeable due to he's supposed to be a digital Pokemon for the eyes, Violet version at
Yes,
least.
and
But Koraidon, the guy that you see at the beginning of the game, his eyes,
mhm,
they look pixelated and fake and faded, like
yeah,
it's not part of his
yeah.
model. And
Even
and
with all
Miraidon,
the issue,
hold
yeah,
on,
the
Miraidon's
future,
eyes, they were just laggy. Even
yeah,
though they did the exact same thing, they just looked. It didn't look
yeah.
right.
There's another thing about negative, besides the graphics and performance. There's another thing that you're gonna bring up that I think great minds things alike. This was the biggest missed opportunity to not have voice acting.
Yes, dude, you have any idea how many people actually started doing voice acting for these cutscenes that they had? And
And
I'm
it
like,
sounds
they
amazing.
sound brilliant. They sound great. Why didn't they do voice acting? I
And
understand that
especially,
it's gonna take up a lot of room on these tiny little cartridges that are no bigger than your thumb if you're an
well,
adult.
Breath of the Wild has voice acting. It's the
Barely.
first Zelda, yeah, barely, but still, it's something. It's got voices in the characters, and
Yeah,
that. What if you have an emotional scene, which I forgot the name of the character, but
Arvin
it's Arvin and
with his
the dog.
Mabostiff. Dude, I had to edit that. I actually. That was terrible. I hated that. But it was one of the. That's a positive. I'll wait till the positives. I hated it because it got me way too emotional. I had to stop. I had to stop recording. I had to take care of myself for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, what if
Because
that's like
I've.
voice acting? Because then you would have an emotional connection. And voice acting is very important with scenes like that. When it's just text, I'm like, why wasn't there no voices with especially like in a really intense, awesome fight with the gym leaders and all that stuff. And we'll get to the positives because there's a lot of positives I really like about this game.
I mean, like,
But
that scene alone with the entire Titan thing with Arvin
yeah,
and his Mabostiff
yeah,
is both a huge negative, but a good negative, and a huge positive. I mean,
yeah.
like, I was not expecting to
And the
cry.
music on
I
top of that,
really wasn't. I mean, like,
yeah,
no joke. I don't know if you did, but man, dude, because I've had so many dogs in my life, or I should say
yeah,
pets too, I've lost quite a few of them. And that made me feel that. Like, really, really feel that. And
yeah.
that shit, if they had voice acting, oh my god.
Well, the voice acting, if you played, well, there is voice acting with like other Nintendo games, like Xenoblade Chronicles series has
That
voice
doesn't
acting.
count because they've always had voice acting. I'm talking about
Yeah,
old games that never had voice acting getting voice acting. That's a way to compare it with. Missed
Mhm.
opportunity. Who knows? Maybe they were trying to actually save that for Gen
I
10.
felt with generation, the previous generation, I was thinking, okay, maybe the next generation will have voice acting. And when these cutscenes happened, I was like, man, would you imagine they have voices in here? It would have the impact of, and especially, you know, like I said about the performance and everything, just make the game run a little bit better, just something, so it doesn't be unbearably bad. Where it's like, man, I have to go through this shit. I want to enjoy the game because the open world part is the meat of the game.
Yes,
So
and that was. I'm actually, even though it is pretty bad, I'm actually enjoying it. Like, no lie. It's a lot of bold that
that's the weird
happens,
thing.
but it's nice to
But you
explore.
know what though is this is the first truly open world Pokemon game, so I would kind of get into the benefit of doubt, but at the same time, there's no reason for this game to run this bad. I mean, it's unacceptable to be this horribly bad. I mean, this game would run. This game runs like this game would run better on like like maybe an Xbox One. Okay.
Uh, I, no, it's worse than the Nintendo 64 when it comes to that. Nintendo
Yeah.
64, I'm not gonna lie, even though their frame rate wasn't as good as you would think it would be, um, it still was better than
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet with majority of their
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Well, okay. Since you played Arceus, does Arceus run better in this game?
Yes, there are some frame rates in the background that you could notice when it comes to some Pokemon, where it's like 2 frames per second, like legitimately. And for some reason, they have Gyarados flying in one of the sections. I don't know if
What?
because he's part flying, they had to do that, but
Yeah.
he just had 2 frames. One where the tail was up, when one was the tail was down while he was flying in the air. You could see him in the distance. Other Pokemon were
Yeah.
like that too, that were capable of being seen in the distance too, but most of them were solid objects. Magnezone. You see him in the air, but he was still moving around. I mean, like, if you notice the magnets turning or anything, low frame rate. But he still moves around in
Yeah.
circles
Very. Yeah.
smoothly, even in the distance. Gyarados was
Even
too.
if you're the biggest, even if yeah. Sorry. I mean, I know we're going through a lot of shit. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the issue, and I don't like to cut you off, but
Oh, that
um
was. I had to finish that up, and yes, that was pretty much the end of it. What I was trying to explain was that was in the distance, yes. And yes, Legends Arceus was limited to 300 Pokemon? I can't remember. Hold on.
wasn't that game had was that game half like open world, like it had some locked content?
No, actually, it was 6 sections, I think. 7 technically with the final one, but it was so small, there's nothing there. It's an ancestor that you get to meet, and you get a encounter with a legendary Pokemon that you have to go and catch to start it off with. And don't quote me on how many areas there are, because I can't remember. I haven't played Arceus in a while. I've been playing, almost said Violet, Scarlet, a lot. I still am, because I'm trying to catch them all. And
Yeah.
uh, that area is so small, barely anything to do in there. It's just to finish up the story, pretty much, to get the final legendary or something like that. And you're probably going to be like, who the hell is this? It's Enamorous. It's the 4th genie of the trio weather Pokemon from Pokemon Black and White 1 and 2.
Something off topic though. I know this
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with Pokemon, but I have to kind of bring this up because it was funny when I was playing Breath of the Wild, and
Yeah.
those little ore things you have to collect by breaking it with like a heavy weapon. For some reason, I was thinking of Zhongli from Genshin Impact. I was like, oh wait a minute, I'm playing the wrong game. Because I was like, I was like solidify. I was like, oh wait a minute, this is not Genshin Impact. Oops.
Okay, that is
I
kind
thought
of
that was
funny.
hilarious. Yeah, when I was going through the ores, I'm like, man, where's Zhongli when you need this? Because it was so easy to go there. But anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
Where was I?
But
I was talking
yeah, you
about
were
that
talking about
fourth
Arceus.
Legends Arceus. They're technically considered sandbox, not free roaming. Yes, you could roam wherever you want in those small, in those little areas, there are things you can encounter to unlock things, and you have to do things in a specific way in order to do all that stuff. One of them I actually had to look up to figure it out because just like I don't know if you've ever done this with Gen 3, the Ruby and Sapphire, to getting the Regis, you had to do it with Manaphy also in this one. In order to unlock Manaphy, you had to do a specific thing with specific Pokemon in your party, just like the Regis. I love that. I miss that. They need to bring that back. The last time they had that was in Gen 5, I think,
Hmm.
whenever you had to collect a specific Pokemon. And the last one that I missed out on before, Gen 6 came out was the Victini event in Pokemon Black and White. One and or two, I don't remember which one. But yeah, I missed out on that, and Victini was the longest, still is, legendary mythical Pokemon I have yet to collect. I've only had one, and then I lost it.
Yeah. So is there any other negative things, like any other ones? I know there's a lot.
Um, some of the sound was weird. It confused me. I don't know if you ever encountered
Yeah.
this, but I've encountered it in both versions, where you're crossing paths of Pokemon, and all of a sudden you just
Hmm.
hear them go blip 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 for a second. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck was that? What is going on? Like
Yeah.
it was a sound
There's been weird
glitch.
sounds. Yeah, there's weird sounds in this game where the music will just be muted for no reason, and it'll just come back, and it'll be like,
Slowly
That was
fade in.
weird."
Yeah, that's been doing that to me in Violet version. Scarlet, I never
And
noticed
hell, when
because
there's
I
an
was
open
recording.
when you're in an open area, sometimes when the game's lagging, sometimes the music will lag, and it's like you're playing on a low end PC. It's like that's
Yeah,
really weird. I mean, and this is Pokemon, okay? They're not meant to do it like, because the thing is, I felt with Scarlet and Violet, they rushed this game. They said we have to get this game out at this time. I understand November is usually the release date. Wait until next year and give the game some time to work on and get the frame rate running a little better. Because if you see something run this bad, you're like, we can't release this game like this. We can't do it. I don't care if
yeah,
it's Pokemon. You cannot release it like that. Like, it's like having Breath of the Wild come out in 2015 on the Wii U, where it's not even ready yet and it runs like shit.
yeah.
Uh, that's why they waited for Breath of the Wild. This is a huge title. It's a launch for the Switch. It's the final game on the Wii U, and they knew that game was a huge hit. They were like, we have to get this game out at the perfect time, and they did. And the game sold amazingly well, and we got a sequel out of it. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So for this game
It took
here,
them
after
7 years.
Legend, yeah, it was worth it though. But after Legends Arceus, which was crazy because Legends Arceus came out the same year that Scarlet and Violet came out, which is kind of crazy. We don't usually have
Yeah,
two
actually, that
Pokemon.
surprised even the Pokemon YouTubers. Like, we're getting three different types of Pokemon games back to back: Diamond, Pearl remakes, Legends Arceus, and then Scarlet and Violet, all within
That's
less than a 6 month span. I think we
and I
got
think you
Diamond and
see,
Pearl released in November, and then Legends Arceus
yep,
came out right before
January.
Christmas. Oh, it was January. Okay, I couldn't
January,
remember.
yeah,
And
January.
then Scarlet and Violet just came out a few months ago too, and
Yeah,
um, wait, was it January?
yeah, it was January. I looked up the date. It was like late January, 2022. So it's
Oh, I
about a
was
year.
gonna say that no, Uh, and then later that year. Okay,
Yeah, Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet near the end of the year. I was thinking that all that happened at the end of the last year. My God,
Yeah, yeah.
man,
So
I confused
yeah, I mean,
myself for
it
a
felt like
second.
yeah, but yeah, that's where you see the performance issue is they're pumping out these games too soon,
Actually, the
and it's
thing
just
is, Legends Arceus is made by the Pokemon Company themselves that they were working on as a demo, quote unquote demo, for the Scarlet and
yeah,
Violet of what they were planning on doing,
yep,
which was something that we
yep,
all have always wanted. The other Diamond and Pearl remakes were being made by a completely different company that has nothing to do with Game Freak or Pokemon. They've made other games before, but this one was a joke. Diamond and Pearl remake was literally a remake
yeah.
through and through. I don't know if you've ever played Diamond Pearl Platinum. I played Platinum for my first one, right?
Yeah.
And then I played a little bit of Diamond. It's exactly the same. It's just like Diamond.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Platinum. It was the better version, of course, right? They always make the third
Yeah.
version the
Yeah.
better one.
Oh yeah. Like yeah.
But those faithful, quote unquote, faithful remakes is exactly just like the originals. I did not like it,
Yeah.
just like how I didn't like Gen 4 in the first place. It was
You
terrible.
know the map. You know the map in Scarlet and Violet with that weird that shaded type area that looks like you can go to it, but it's probably going to be a DLC. And every time I look at that, I'm always thinking, "Oh, we're gonna go there eventually." And I actually
Yes,
thought, "Oh, it's a DLC." So I
actually,
was like, "Oh man."
that's something actually while I was getting this set up and getting this thumbnail that or background that I'm going to be using, not thumbnail, background for the podcast. Sorry, I was trying to remember the damn name. Um,
Hmm.
I saw leaks that we may be going back to Kalos. Leaks
That'd be cool.
is a huge
Yeah.
thing, dude. Not all the time that leaks are wrong from the people that know about this stuff. And if that's true, do you have any idea how excited I am for this? Like, I'm not kidding. Kalos was the first 3D Pokemon world,
Hmm.
like
And
fully.
I mean,
And I'm
I'll
really
ignore.
excited
I mean,
because that one was. I know it's a lot of people's least favorite, but that one was one of my favorites because it may have the least amount of Pokemon, but it seemed to be one of the better ones. Not the best one, but the
yeah.
better one.
Let's just see that the performance can be a little bit better. Maybe they'll learn their lesson from the base game. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe that when the DLC is being announced, that they'll have an update to fix not just majority of the bugs that they have where the glitches happen, but they'll fix the
Yeah.
frame rate problem and try to
Is
make it
there?
less, more tolerable for the long distance ones
Yeah.
too.
So what else did you find that was annoying that you felt, man, this could have been better?
The in-game purchases, those things, I don't like how they separate them from different varieties from city to city. I understand that you got to try to keep a theme going for each city, but because this is an open world one, I hate flying back and forth, right? I really do. One city that
Yeah.
I found just recently had almost everything in it was the one with the water gym leader. Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee. Kufei,
Whatever
or
his name.
whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They have a lot of things there. Not everything, but they have a lot. I went there
Yeah.
because I just recently learned how to breed Pokemon. And I'm like, where's the Pokemon daycare? Is it a nursery? Where is it? I Googled it. You do it while picnicking. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now,
So
the picnicking, I love it. I do. Because you
yeah,
get to
I
interact with
like
your
it.
Pokemon. I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love playing with my Pokemon like they were my own pet.
It's almost like daycare in a way.
Yeah.
And well, you want to talk about the positives?
Yes, actually, that's what I wanted to get into.
Because
Was the
let me
positives.
go ahead and say this. Let me go ahead and say this. I actually do like the story of this game.
um.
Um,
Okay. Getting back into the negatives because of this one out of the three stories that we have to go through. As I'm playing it, you hear my true thoughts on this completely. I don't know if it's been uploaded by now or not, but Team Star, a lot of people are praising them for becoming what they are to be an anti bully. No, that's fucking stupid. They became bullies to bully the bullies. That is stupid. That is not the fucking way to treat other people at all. You don't become a bully to bully the bullies. That's like an eye for an eye.
yeah.
You don't do that. I hated that. It pissed me off. It's not because I was bullied. It was not because people don't believe me whenever I was being bullied at the few times, but it's because that shows that you should create a gang of people to go out and take care of them. You know what happened in real life that they did that with? The Bloods and the Crips did that. Well, I should say the Crips were the ones that started the gang to be
Well,
anti cops that were corrupted. They ended up being even worse than they should have been. Even the guy that created this is really upset of how it came to be. They have reviews and stuff like that talking to the guy, and he was admittedly saying, I kind of wish I didn't start this because of how it turned out. The Bloods were created because the Crips didn't do things that they wanted to do, and the leader was like, "You're not good enough to be a leader. You can't do it." And he went off and created his own gang to be the anti-Crips, the Bloods. And now that they are fighting to the death every time they see each other. And they were supposed to be anti-cop bullying. That is the biggest example I can give that is in real life. And I'm sorry if you guys are actually a part of the Bloods or the Crips and you're not actually like that, but that's how it was supposed to start. And if you
well, for me with
that was just a
for me,
bullshit story. I hated it. I'm sorry. That was no. They could have done better. They could have made it a little bit more interesting by making them, I don't know, actual bullies instead
well,
of
the thing is,
nerds.
do you think do you like them more than Team Yell?
Actually, no. I actually hate them more than Team Yell. I actually hate them more than Team Skull. And Team Skull was a joke. The only reason why I
Yeah,
liked Team Skull was because of Guzma. He was fucking
yeah.
awesome and kind of funny in the anime.
Well, the thing is about my opinion with Team Star is when I was playing through it, one thing I have to kind of give him something for. At least they kind of did something with the story when it comes to like you get to fight them. There's like different they have like there's three different stories. You have the main one with you go through the gym leaders, you go to the Elite Four, and then you got the Titan story, which I actually think the Titan story is my favorite one. 'Cause that one's actually really unique, is different, and but Stars is like there's I like Penny. I like her. She's probably the only one I really like
I
because you
actually like her too because she's kind of cute and she actually looks like she was the one that was truly bullied out of everybody, right?
yeah, and when you fight her, the music's amazing.
The only thing I was disappointed in is that her evolutions were actually just basic evolutions. They weren't stronger than the
Yeah,
average Eevee.
yeah. It was still cool. It was still cool fighting some of them. I kind of wish that you
Oh
could
god
fight
damn
all
it!
of
Is this
them.
a shiny?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm while we're doing this podcast, I'm also trading Pokemon in Pokemon Home, and I already have that Pokemon as a shiny. So sorry. Um,
Yeah.
that's why I
But
was like,
yeah,
God damn
so
it.
like yeah, so Team Star like when you fight them, I love the music when you're going through them and everything. 'Cause I mean I'm a big fan of video game music, so I'm gonna praise the song. So, um, but yeah, so I think out of the three stories, the Titan Pokemon story I really liked a lot because again, you have that
That one,
emotional
yeah.
story,
I don't know if you
and
did the same thing as I did, but at the beginning, whenever you didn't get to see the Pokemon, did you assume that it was going to be the opposite box art legendary?
he was like okay, coast is clear, and then the screen goes black, and I was like, hmm,
Is
okay.
that is that Miraidon for me, or is that um
I
Koraidon that
thought
he
for
has?
I thought this guy was like going to be a villain or something like that because I didn't really know anything about this guy at first. Because you're really suspicious. Like, okay, what is he hiding here? And then we find out it's a lot more emotional than you think, and you're like, oh man,
Yeah, and
I
at
feel bad
first he
about
was a douchebag, and you're like, why are you
yeah,
being such an asshole? You are not a fun person to talk to. And then after a couple of Titans, you're like, oh.
hmm what did you think of the Area Zero, the post game
Dude,
part?
I still like that area. I love seeing the ancient
It's
Pokemon in there. Ancient Pokemon makes more
yeah.
sense than the future Pokemon. It really does,
Well,
no
you know
lie.
what? You called it with the time travel thing.
I am surprised I did. You know why I did? In the trailer, when you see
Why?
the clock going haywire, That's when I was like, it has to be something like that. The
because Moridon and Koridon are past and future.
hmm Here's
Because if
a
you look at if you
huge
do,
positive that I love about Co-Rydon. Mir even though he's the same thing, doesn't match him. They should have made his personality a little different. He's fucking toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. Have you seen the animations? He's fucking cute. And his
yeah,
shiny form is black with yellow eyes. Just like toothless. I have to get a shiny form. I have to.
yeah. Well,
Like, I'm not
when I
kidding.
got
I
the
have to. And he's already named my.
when you also called about the motorcycle part where you can ride on them.
I was kind of kidding on
Because
that
remember you said
too.
that, yeah,
The one that
and
actually
but
looks like it the most is Mir Rydon because he looks like a light.
like a jet. Yeah, it looks like a jet, and that's why I picked that one because he looked a little different. And although I'm not saying the other one doesn't look cool, he does look cool too.
I think
But I just
Co
want to talk.
Rydon looks a lot better than Mir Rydon, to be quite honest. The only problem I have with Mir Rydon is for Mir Rydon, I think they could have done a little bit more to make it more not presentable, but related looking. Because if
Yeah.
you look
Well,
at
he's
the
futuristic,
evolution
so
line of Koradon and Miraidon, the middle evolution of timeline wise, not actual evolutions, is
yeah.
Cyclozar. He's missing the headdress. What the hell happened to it? Why does Miraidon still have a little bit of it, and how come he has jet engine legs?
Yeah.
There
Which
needs to be
that
an
was the
explanation. Why does Cyclozar, the middle part of these two, and timeline wise, doesn't look like he's about to turn into that? He
okay.
still looks
Do
like
you
a
have do you have
Koraidon.
that do you have that Pokemon that has the little fire dude and he evolves in two different versions?
Yeah, actually, I have the shield one, the Armor Rouge or something, whatever his name
Armored
is.
one.
Yes,
The other one is
fucking
badass looking.
awesome, dude. No lie, strong as hell. I'm about
Yeah.
to get the
You know
Violet version
what's crazy?
exclusive and see how that one works. I can't wait.
What's crazy when I played Violet, I got that version of that Pokemon. I was like, "Oh shit. Wow, I actually lucked out with that one."
Honestly, I didn't even because I like being spoiled free. Didn't know that Char Cadet had two different evolution lines, and
No.
I'm
I didn't
when
even
I
know who that Pokemon was.
yeah, when I got Char Cadet, I'm like, why isn't he evolving? Googled it. He evolves by grabbing
Yeah.
this item or this item, and I ended up getting um finding out that way that he has two different forms, and I'm like, oh, how do I get the ghost looking one with the two swords? Because I like to dual wield swords in my video games,
Yeah.
and in real life
Yeah.
if I'm capable of learning how to do that. And it says that's a Violet exclusive. I'm like, son of a bitch.
You know what else was kind of cool? Primeape actually has an evolution.
Annihilate. Great name.
Yes.
Beautiful
It's a
name.
fucking
A
yes. And I saw
ghost
it, like, oh
fighting
my god.
type.
I was like, dude, that's amazing. I was like, I wonder what your reaction is when you finally see
When
this.
I first saw that, I thought he was just dark type and fighting. I'm like, the fuck? When that part comes up, you'll see it. I don't know if, like I said, it's been uploaded or not.
And guess what? You've always wanted this. Dunsparce has an evolution. It's very disappointing, by the way.
Oh, is it disappointing? He has
It's like,
two forms for his evolution. He has the double
yeah,
and a triple. Why did they do that? He doesn't look any different. They just made him longer.
Gir- Giraffaric has an evolution,
Now
which is
that one is nice. I think she still looks kind
yeah. I
of
was
cute
not
too.
expecting that.
Neither was I.
Yeah.
I saw the fan art of that, thinking it was fake. I actually thought it was fake,
Mm.
Fakeamon, and um, and I'm like, this is a kind of cool looking giraffe rig. Why is it look like? Why is it saying that I am taking over? I'm like, is it becoming a dark type now or something? And no, it's still psychic normal.
You what other cool evolutions did you see? You're like, oh my god, that thing can evolve.
Mm, I need to look up the list of Pokemon. Hold on.
Yeah, I haven't played in a while, so
No, it's not because I haven't played in a while. It's because there's too many Pokemon.
there's isn't there like do we hit have we hit it 1,000 Pokemon?
Yes, I think you're gonna hate the 1,000th Pokemon. 1,000th Pokemon. Do you remember how Gumby looks?
Oh, you talking about that gold Pokemon?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. I actually kind of like that one. I
he's.
actually got the evolution.
You actually obtained his evolution by working for it.
Yes.
Dude, I give you
Yeah.
props on that. I did not know how to evolve him. I looked it
It
up. I'm like,
took.
I only have 200 of these things out of the 1,000 that I need. That's bull.
Yeah. So you don't have the evolution of him, huh?
Not yet. I'm going to.
So yeah, the evolution is actually really cool. But yeah, honestly, it didn't take as long as I thought because those coins constantly respawn. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing. I
I
didn't
do
know
like
that the
that.
treasure chest gives you 50 plus. I thought
Yeah.
all they did was just be the Pokemon, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When I first encountered that treasure, I was like, that's got to be a Pokemon. Because why would there be a treasure like that in a game?
Yeah, I knew it was a Pokemon because of the way it looked. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see. These aren't the alternate forms or anything, but this is the Pokedex for Gen 9. They have Annihilate at the very end. Why? It's supposed to be weird. I guess this is not in a particular order then. Um, okay, let's start off with the starters. Who did you choose for your starter? It was Quaxley,
Quaxley,
and
yes.
I chose Fuecoco. How did you
Hmm.
like the final evolution for Quaxley?
I actually really like it. I didn't know he would be a dancer. I thought he'd be a chef.
Yeah, I did too.
That actually, yeah, I was very surprised, and I actually really like the animations, how he moves his legs, and just very animated.
And hips, and don't forget the hips.
Yeah, and just
Was yours male
completely,
or female?
male.
Mm. So you had a very feminine dancer for a guy.
Yeah, he was kind of like he actually kind of reminded me of the guy from Dragon Quest 11. Um, the flamboyant dude.
Okay, yeah, I remember who you're talking about now.
Fabulous.
Just
Yeah.
fabulous. um,
Actually, he's my favorite character in that game. So
um, did you expect him to be part fighting?
no, I
Neither
didn't
did
know
I.
what he was. I thought he's just gonna be straight up water, maybe normal,
N-
or something like.
Maybe you're right.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, as for your Pokemon though, the Fun Evolution
I
it's
liked
just
Mort Goldman. He was pretty cool. I mean,
yeah
Scoldridge.
yeah
He looks like Mort Goldman from Family Guy.
yeah
I'm not
yeah.
kidding.
Now,
He looks like Mort
Sprigat,
Goldman. The only
Sprigat.
difference is he doesn't have the glasses on. He goes, oh, I need to get my prescription.
What do you
I'll
think of
pay her.
the grass
Huh?
the grass starter? What do you think of that one?
At first, I didn't like it. It grew in me. I love the final evolution. And my first one was female. And I don't know if you have any idea how rare it is to select one of them to actually be female, but the odds of it's like so low that I was genuinely surprised that my Sprigatito was female. And then when I saw its final evolution, I'm like, ugh. And then I started playing the game more with her, and I started to like her. I think they could have done better with her name, Masquerada. No,
You know,
I
uh,
don't like it.
going off topic though. I mean, not a topic, but just keeping the theme of like the open world exploration because there's so much shit to do. Like what I like about the when you have the legendary early, you learn abilities like to climb, to swim,
Yeah,
to
that
have extra dash.
that was a lot of fun to do, and I didn't know that you can unlock that stuff by going against the Titans. My first Titan was the bird one, the flying one,
Yeah,
and what was the ability that one gave me? Was that swimming?
was it?
I can't remember. Hold on.
I have the glide one. The glide one's kind of weird. It glides and then you just drop.
Don't like that. You're supposed.
That's yeah. I don't know why. That seems really weird. Like you're gliding at a certain moment, and all of a sudden your momentum stops. You just drop. It's like
Yeah.
what? That's
Here's the thing. I think they were trying to make it to where you purposely fell if you lost momentum, right? But
yeah.
I think they were trying to make it to where if you take away the wings and then bring them back out, you'll be able to continue your momentum. But it
Yeah.
doesn't work most of the time. And whenever I'm really high in the air, I'm like, come on, open your wings back up.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out, like, come on, I'm spamming the button. Come on, come on. There are times where you're gliding, you start falling, you take away the wings for a second, then you pull it back out and you continue gliding far, right? Perfect timing, just like how I hit the button. But there are times to where it doesn't fucking work, and it was so annoying. And I was
And
like,
you know,
"What is wrong with this? Is it the timing?" It turns out, no, it's just fucking random.
yeah. It's like you're playing online and there's bad frame rate and there's like a
Bad
delay.
lag. Yeah.
Very very bad lag. It's like you're online and saying, okay, I'm pressing it, nothing's happening. And the crazy thing is, the engine does have issues with that too, but this game's even worse than that. There's a lot
Genshin
of it.
was pretty bad, almost as bad as Scarlet and Violet was with that button pressing. It still is pretty bad, but that's because it's an online game. They have to have
Yep.
it streaming at all times, and because of how popular it
Yep.
is, can't. So the gliding sometimes kills you.
Yeah. 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 It will do that. It's not perfect, obviously, but Pokemon is unacceptable to even be as bad as it is.
Yeah,
Because
and
there's a lot of moments where you wanna glide, and then you just drop, and then your wings will just stop, and you're trying to get it back, and it's like, oh, well, that's
yeah,
weird.
yeah, and I'm like, thank God there's no damage when you fall.
Yeah.
Oh God, that would I think everybody would be mad at that. I think that's the reason
Yeah.
why there's no damage is because they're like we can't figure out what the problem is. I don't know what's going on. We reprogrammed it and everything. Fuck it. We'll just make it to where you don't take damage when you fall on or off the Pokemon. Cuz Legends Arceus, you fall and you fall far enough, you're
Yeah.
dead. You get knocked out.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's pretty dark.
yeah, Legends Arceus was pretty dark. You remember Legend of Zelda's Majora's Mask?
Oh yeah.
Close to
That
that
that's how
level of
about
how dark it is. They don't get scared of telling you to fuck off, pretty much. Go survive on
yeah.
your own and stuff like that. Of course, they don't cuss. They're like, we think you're the reason why this shit is happening, so you're banned from this. You have to survive on your own. And you're like, oh, whoa, that's kind of a surprise. They're telling me to go. I'm not gonna say that. That's
Yeah. Go.
go and try to
Piss off and get
survive.
lost. Yeah.
Go unalive yourself out there. We don't like you anymore.
Yeah. But yeah. So I really like the climbing aspect. When you just climb, it's very
Yes.
satisfying to climb.
They did it better in Legends Arceus, no lie. I think they could have done it that way, because the way you climb in Legends Arceus is exactly the same way as you would climb in Breath of the Wild, except Rain doesn't make you fall because she has claws. So
Yeah.
do these guys, but they hop. They hop when they're
Yep.
climbing. It's annoying because when I'm trying to get to a certain point where the gimme ghoul is, with the coins, I couldn't get to him because he was like, "I'm gonna hop," and it woo woo woo, and it go way past it. I'm like, "What the
What do
fuck?"
you What do you think of the gym leaders this time around?
I think they were fun. I kind of
What's
wish that they
interesting
were
about
all like the bug one where you had to push the olive into a basket. That I was kind of wishing that they all had some gimmick to
Yeah,
them like
because
that.
what's weird, they every time you do a gym leader, you would have to do a test run. Like, say you needed to do this objective in
My
order to
least
do this.
favorite one was the psychic gym leader test. You just hit push the one button once and you were done. There was
Yeah.
no challenge to it. You're just like,
What was kind of neat though is like when you fight the gym leaders, you get slowly introduced to the Elite Four, like one member after the other. And
Oh yeah, that was
that was
actually kind of cool. One of them is a teacher. I kind of wish I was talking to the teachers beforehand, but the only one that I was talking to was the nurse. She was cute.
hmm
That's why I was talking to her. And
And one of the Elite Four, I actually thought one of them was a dude. And I found it was a girl.
you're talking about the dragon one?
Yeah, the one with the green hair.
Oh, the
I had to
green hair,
interview
the
you.
first one. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I thought the same thing too until I read she, and I'm like,
Oh,
what? You're a girl? You look like a dude. You literally look like one of
literally,
the
yeah.
anime characters from one of the movies or shows that I've watched. That looks
So
exactly
this
like
guy,
that,
so this
except for the
guy's the
clothing.
Haku of this Pokemon. This guy's the Haku
Yes,
of
yes,
the game.
except the other way around. They're a girl,
Yeah,
not a guy.
yeah,
If you guys are wondering, Naruto, Haku, look it up. Naruto scene and Haku. Uh,
yeah.
Haku is dressed
hmm
up like a girl, looks like a girl, acts like a girl, and when Naruto was
Sounds
flirting
like a
with
girl.
her, I mean him, quote unquote,
Yeah.
I guess sounds like a girl too, and he's walking away. He goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm a guy," and Naruto goes, "What? What the?" And then the
You're
next
actually
scene that you see Naruto, he's freaking out a little, like, "I can't believe I was doing that." He looks so not confused, but like, "I can't believe I did that." Made him probably start thinking, "Hey, maybe feminine guys aren't so bad, but asshole tricked me."
yeah. One of the twists that I actually thought was kind of cool about the Elite Four, or since we're jumping here, one of the members of like when you fight the regular gyms,
Yeah,
he's also an elite member too. I was like,
yeah.
that's different.
Larry, the normal gym leader. Boy, I love
Yeah,
him. At first, he
yeah.
was my
I like
favorite.
him too.
I loved him. He was my absolute favorite because I
He
imagine him
doesn't seem like
talking
a
like
gym
this at
leader, but
all times because he's so tired. He's monotone and
yeah,
he's like, all right, let's get this over with. And I'm glad I did that because whenever he was supposed to call the Dragon Gym Elite Four member in, he was like, all right, it's your turn. I think you got to be louder.
hmm
Okay, it's your turn.
I I
And they're like, all right, for
I think
God's
that
sake, dude.
yeah. When I first ran into him, I was like, you wouldn't think this guy would be a gym leader,
No, he looked like
but
a normal
then
NPC that was slightly
yeah,
different looking. And it's
and
like,
then he
oh,
shows up again in the elite. He
yeah.
shows up again in the elite. He
When
shows up again in the
I'm
elite four,
sorry,
and it's like,
we keep interrupting each
sorry,
other.
yeah, well, yeah,
It was funny because
but
when he first came out, I'm like, wait, what? You mean that Larry? Whoa.
it's
This is
not,
why I
it's
like
not.
going through the games completely spoil free because the
You
reaction
thought
is genuine. Genuine.
you thought it was Laser Suit Larry.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. He comes out with his big ass head, small body like a midget. He's like, "All right, too bad you're not uh, an older lady."
Yeah, yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Leisure Suit Larry. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know that, look it up. Game Grumps played a few of those games. They're
Oh yeah,
hilarious games.
those rare adult games back in the day.
Extremely rare. They weren't even
Yeah,
rated as adult games yet because they
yeah,
look like genuine regular kid games. The only one that was
yeah.
technically rated was Doom because of the violence, right?
What did you think of the Elite Four, the overall Elite Four?
I have to say, I wouldn't say the toughest one was the dragon one. It was more of I did have the advantage due to my starter was a fire type. Was the little girl with the steel types?
Yeah, she was interesting.
I was kind of surprised they had a child as an Elite Four member. I'm like, you're giving a
That was
baby
different.
a job. You know that, right? I mean, like, I think it's
Yeah,
cool that they're doing something different, but that you're making a child, a baby, that's not even 10 years old yet, work in the Elite Four. I really hope that you only get her to come into battle. She still should be in school
hmm
to learn what the fuck basics life is.
I mean, maybe she's too smart. Maybe she just outclassed everybody in the class and say, even though I'm little, but I'm very smart."
Yeah, I mean, like, if she was a genius, that'd be different, but she talks like a
Yeah,
No, I made her talk like a baby. She's just tiny. She even
Yeah.
dresses up like she's
Well,
still a baby.
I guess they wanted to really change it up a little bit and be like, okay, well, let's bring a child as the Elite Four, just something that no one would expect.
Make a child a champion would be different. But according to
Yeah.
this, the
Well,
champion in
I
this
know
game is
they're.
more like a job.
I don't know if this has happened in previous Pokemon games, but for me though, it's nice to have a female rival, something different, in my opinion. I don't know if this has happened before in previous Pokemon games, but
Technically, it has a Master Ball. Oh, it's Calorie X. The like the ones where you choose male or female, the opposite would be the thing. A lot of people don't count that. I still do. In Gen 3, when you chose the male, the female would be your rival, and vice
yeah.
versa.
But I mean, like, I'm talking about an actual character, not your creative characters. I'm talking about a character that you're gonna get that same character even if you pick male or female. So, like, Nemona is like I actually really like her, and
Dude,
she's like
I was surprised that they didn't let her use her original team when she fought you. I would have been
yeah.
surprised if hold on a second. Allergies. I would have been surprised if they gave her the team that she was using to just battle you until you became champion. And when they did, I was like, "What the fuck?
Mhm.
That's disappointing." Kind of, not really. She was still tough, like tough, tough. I mean, like the first
Yeah.
because my recording
You know,
failed. I had to
oh,
re-record this. So just to
I
let you know, I had to fight her 3 different times. 3. And every time I fought her, knowing her Pokemon the second and the third time, I still had a hard time. It's not because she was
you know
growing
the
up with me
hardest
with the
the hardest
team. It's because they
the
were
toughest team
strong.
early on. The toughest person was Arvin, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, Arvin.
Arvin.
Yeah, he was pretty tough
Arvin.
too at the end.
He was really, really tough in the end. Yeah. But what do you think of the crystallization form, the crystal form,
Terrestrialization. I think
whatever
it's
yeah.
stupid. Not gonna lie, they had
It's a
potential.
it's a
I don't
weird
like the
it's a
crown.
weird
That's the only thing I hate about it. I think it's stupid
yeah
looking. I do like it. I do like
yeah.
how they
This is
changed
where they
typing.
yeah. But I mean I find the previous generation much better than this in my opinion. Like when the Gigamax and Dynamax, I prefer that over this. I mean, this one
Yeah,
feels like they ran out of ideas. It's like
no,
let's just make them crystal.
no, I don't think they ran out of ideas. I think it was more of they ran out of time because all the Pokemon just look crystallized whenever they transform into this, and they're like, oh, we don't have alternate forms for all these Pokemon yet. Hold on. Okay, they have crowns of the typing now. What? It's just like,
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, they could have really done more with it in my opinion. That's just my opinion. When I first saw it, I was like, this is different. This is kind of weird. And then the more I saw it, everybody kind of looks the same. I'm like, I'm kind of underwhelmed. I was expecting a little bit more.
yeah.
And because the Dynamaxing and Gigamax, I really liked it because it was very original.
Yes,
And
and they had alternate forms for specific
yep,
Pokemon, which was cool. That's smart to do.
yep,
Now, this
yep,
terrestrialization, if I'm saying that right, I'm just going to call it terraforming since
yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be, um,
yep,
is a great idea. Change their typing, but still give them
yep,
the stab boost of their original typing, but they only gain that typing for their strengths and weaknesses, but they still keep the stab boost of the previous one. Like Scoleridge, him being a fire ghost type,
yeah.
which is kind of cool. I was kind of hoping they had a main game series that way instead of just Typhlosion from Legends Arceus to be part ghost, fire ghost starter.
Mhm.
I'm glad they did that with him.
Um,
But why did he die? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later.
what what's what's your favorite area, like open world area, that you like to explore the most?
Mm, I don't know. I pretty much like the whole fucking map. My least favorite part, I would say, would be fucking hell, what would it be? The side with the fairies. My team is weak to
Fairies.
fairy types, and I can't go over there without them dying.
Yeah. Well, the
Scoldridge is the
area
only one that's capable of taking them on due to that they're not very strong against fire types. But
I
that's pretty
like
much
how
it.
the music changes depending on north, like east, south, and west. Like the
Yeah,
music will change.
I
I
like
do like that
I like that
because
too.
yeah, and then day and night cycle, you get different Pokemons that show up, and
Yes.
I got lucky at one point when I was trying to get Sylveon just to get him in the open. I found Gallade, just random Gallade, and I never ran into him ever again. I got really lucky finding him right away. I was like, holy shit, I found a Gallade like just randomly in the open.
Wait, you
He's like
mean
one
Gallade
percent.
as in Ralt's third evolution, the fighting
Yeah,
psychic one? You,
yeah.
I
I just
think,
found him in the open.
I think, I don't think he's a version exclusive to be found, but because Ralts and Collier are in the game, and both
Yeah,
is I think the evolution that you found may be Violet exclusive because I haven't even found a
yeah,
wild Gardevoir yet.
yeah. So yeah, I've only played Violet, and if it starts raining at a certain time or whatever, that Pokemon will show up. And I've been roaming around that area, and I found a Gallade like right away, and I never ran into him ever again after that. And because you always got to leave and come back to make the Pokemon pop out and be like,
Yes,
okay,
actually, I don't know if you remember anything I told you about last night about having the Tauros form that I was looking for. Dude, it
yeah,
took me almost 3 hours to
I've
find
done
that
that.
damn thing. 3 hours
You
in
found
total.
you finally found it.
Yes, and as soon as I got it, I ran around looking for a Ditto. Found it all that one almost right away. Like,
Okay, what is the rarest Pokemon? The rare, not counting that. What is the rarest Pokemon that you finally found, but you only found it once ever in the game?
okay, let me take a look at the Pokedex so that way I can remember who it is. Okay, we have the starters. They don't count.
You've
They
been
always
sick,
do
huh?
that. What? What'd you say?
You've been sick, huh?
I was sick. No, it's my allergies.
Uh,
Um, I was sick about a month ago. Okay, I got lucky on this. You know the dragon semi-legendary in this game, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that one I only found one of, surprisingly. I've seen its second
yeah.
evolution a lot, but not enough to where I would be able to catch it a lot. Um, its final evolution, ex, Exboxilibur or something like that. I fucking love it. It's
Talking about
Godzilla like.
yeah, the new one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The first evolution, yeah, those are pretty tough to find. Um, you know, a Ditto. I've actually never ran into a Ditto. Like when the Ditto, when I see it, it always changes to a different Pokemon, which is kind of weird because they'll do this to where at nighttime, there's a Pokemon you need to find. All of a sudden, they'll change to a different Pokemon. Like what? That's weird. And
Yeah.
it's happened a lot where at nighttime I'll run into a Pokemon, I finally get it, and then it just changes. Like, okay.
Yeah. The best way to look for it is how when you pull the trigger button and you can zoom in with your character. If you get close enough to a
Yeah.
Pokemon, you get to see the name of the Pokemon, and I think their
Yeah.
level, if I remember correctly, to determine the and to see who if that.
What do you
Let me get into the game
yeah, I
real quick
mean,
to check that one more time because I can't remember if it's the left trigger or right trigger.
but I'm seriously have had so much fun playing, just roaming around despite the performance. It's not taking away the moment of the game that I like. And
Yeah.
I keep discovering new Pokemon, and each time and day, I'm like, dude, oh my god, like I finally get to see the Pokemon. I got to get it before it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And and then I finally catch it, and then there's another Pokemon that I haven't seen. Like I'll play the next day, and there's a new patch of Pokemon that I didn't see the other day. It's like this is crazy. There's so much shit to get here.
Yeah. Speaking of which, because Scarlet and Violet can't interact with Pokemon Home yet, I need your help with
Yes.
trading Pokemon over to my Violet version. I don't have two Nintendo Switches yet.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, its name is Box Caliber for the third evolution of that dragon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me find a wild Pokemon real quick because it's the starting area. This is where I go to hatch my eggs. Here we go. Is it the right trigger? Yeah, it's the left trigger where you can zoom in and look at the
Yeah.
Pokemon. It says it's a Turritula, whatever its name is, for the starter
Mm-hmm.
bug, level 6, and it shows a Pokeball next to it showing that you've caught it. Okay, that's cool. I did not know about
Yeah.
that stuff.
Huh. Well, you learned something new right there.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to. Stupid rock. Lechunk, level 6, Pokeball next to it. Okay. And if you do that while you're looking for a Ditto, the name will pop up as Ditto instead of the Pokemon that it is.
That's interesting. That's good to know that because sometimes it will trick you because Ditto is he complete shapeshifts into another
Yeah,
Pokemon.
that's.
So
Yeah, I'm glad that was a
that
thing.
that, that gets frustrating. That gets frustrating because you finally get Ditto, then he just changes and you get that Pokemon instead of Ditto.
Yeah,
So
and, I, hold on. I should have muted that. That sounded funny. Not gonna lie.
yeah,
but,
but
uh, what was I saying? Yeah, getting the Ditto. Surprisingly, I found quickly. Right after I caught that Tauros, I turned around to look for a Ditto, and he was right there. the
yeah. I
blaze,
mean,
the blaze
a lot of
form
time.
is
Yeah,
what I found, and I literally turn around, and I found the Ditto. It
yeah,
was a Meowth.
yep.
He was transformed into a Meowth, and that was kind of funny. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the same thing in Violet version. Look for the Aqua Tauros.
What did you think of the final battle in the Area Zero, where that music was fucking amazing? You fought when she dropped the Pokeball down. Although I fought the guy
The
Toro and Violet,
final boss fight was
was
awesome.
I loved it.
I
I love how they dropped the
loved it
Master
too.
Ball. He just in
Yeah,
the top, and he
I
just drops it.
I like how they have Master Balls for all of the Pokemon. They're like, and the one that drops down in their hand or his hand, depending which version you're playing, is still
Yeah,
shaking like they just threw the ball. And I'm like, what the
yeah.
fuck? They just caught
You know,
someone.
I know you're thinking this though when you're fighting, the female one because I haven't played that one, but I when I fought Toro, I thought the final Pokemon was going to be the legendary, and it wasn't until like after the match, and then
It was
he brings
part
him
two
out.
of the final fight when we fought the
Yeah,
legendary. I was thinking the same thing. Oh, the last Pokemon is going to be Miraidon or Koraidon. It turns out, for my version, it was Salamence's ancient form, and yours was the Gallade, right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
future
The
Gallade.
really awesome looking Gallade
Yeah,
with the scythe, it was
yeah.
awesome looking.
I have the shiny form. I
Oh,
got
nice.
it yesterday while I was doing Wonder Trade. I was trying to get a Mankey for 3 hours straight. I was trying to do Wonder Trade to get a Mankey, expecting it to be very common.
How
Nope.
many Pokemon do you not have in your Pokedex? How many Pokemon do you have in your Pokedex?
Uh, I can't say because in Pokemon Home, when Scarlet and Violet is capable of doing that, I'll have
Yeah,
more than half of them. Like legitimately, I have every legendary
yeah.
Pokemon except for the mythical ones like Zarude, um, Deox. I'm gonna go
Oh,
in the order.
speaking
Deox
of
is
the
Shaman.
legendary,
Yeah.
speaking of the legendaries, what do you think of the four legendaries with that weird thing in the wall? Where you
Yes.
have to pull out
That's.
the little needles.
I think the fish one is the hilarious one. He tricked me. I thought he was going to be water. You find him next to water, and he turns out he's
Yeah.
a fucking fire type.
What? Okay.
He's a
Well,
fire type.
I found half of them so far. I found that weird tree one, and then the saber tooth, which the saber tooth one's my favorite.
Yeah, actually, I think it's the best looking one out of all of them, are the two that you
Yeah,
have.
it has like swords. He has like fucking swords on his
He
like
has a
thing.
sword broken in half for his fangs, which is kind of clever.
Yeah, which
I don't know what he's
yeah,
supposed to be, but it's supposed to be because their names are Chinese. I'm going to be looking up some Chinese lore about these characters, these Pokemon, to see what
yeah.
they represent.
But
Especially the
I like
tree
the
one
fact
or
that
the deer one. I'm assuming it's a deer.
yeah,
He's got a
yeah,
bowl for his head, which is kind of cool because according to the Pokedex, it said that he was created because it was a ritual that went wrong. I'm like, okay, that. I like that. That's a good way to do it because they're all dark type, and dark type is represented as evil. He's an evil Pokemon because they decided to try to do a ritual that ended up going bad. And fairy types are supposed to be the good ones, the good guys, right?
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
I like those
The angels.
legendaries where you have to kind of pull the little needle and then that weird door, which I first saw, I'm like, what is that thing?
Yeah,
I've never seen that
my
before.
first stream with Violet version was my first time ever seeing it. I never knew that was there in Scarlet version. I come across it in Violet, done with Scarlet version, and I see it. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I thought it was some like just door that goes to a different area, which I actually thought at first. I thought it was gonna be the dark realm of the area. Like, say you go in there, it's like a darker realm or some shit.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, this must lead into like a different like dimension or something.
I actually
Because
thought
why
it was
would it
going to be a
be?
cave that it was opening up to. Nope. When you open it, the cave has collapsed and the Pokemon is out, and you don't get to
Yeah.
explore its home
But
that it was
when
sealed
I
away
was
in.
when I was when I was catching these Pokemon, I've always thrown a bunch of Ultra Balls, everything until I won an RNG and I finally got it with a Pokeball, which took forever.
Yes,
Sometimes it takes forever. Sometimes you get it right away if you're
I
lucky.
loved how they brought back the catch rate being difficult. That's what makes it
Yes.
fun. That's what makes
Yep.
you spend the money in the game. Not trying to
Yep.
get the money to try to upgrade your Pokemon to be perfect. Not money to help you breed Pokemon a little better. Not money to spend
The
to
one
get the
thing
Pokemon you
that
don't
I
have. It's
hated.
the balls
Oh,
that you gotta buy because you can't buy Master Balls. You have to buy Ultra Balls. You have to buy Quick Balls. You have to spend your money on the Pokeballs in order to catch these
mhm.
epic legendary Pokemon. All of them were very difficult to catch. The hardest one for me to catch was the snail and the fish.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other two, they
Those.
were a little easier, but they still took a little bit.
How long did it take to catch Koraidon?
I actually don't remember. I think it was pretty quick. Because, RNG sometimes gives you the
Yeah.
best of the best at the beginning. As soon as he was
Yeah.
in the red, I
I
caught him like, what the fuck? I caught. What?
even when you throw the Pokemon, you get that quick one shake and you get it right away. It'll still come out.
It's called a critical catch. And yes, it
Yeah.
becomes better than an Ultra Ball with any ball. It comes almost leveled of a Master Ball when it comes to a critical catch. And yes, they still have a chance to get out. And most of the time, you catch
Hmm.
them when it's the critical catch.
Yep. Because when it shakes 3 times, you're sometimes it'll be like you catch it, it comes right out, and then in one shake, and you get hope. You have hope for like a second. You're like, oh my god, now it's finally shaking, and then it comes out again. It's like, oh shit.
Here's the thing I think is hilarious. This happens to me all the time. Don't know about you. Other players too that I've noticed is you throw an Ultra Ball, it doesn't even shake. It comes out right away. You throw a Pokeball, it shakes 3 times.
Yep, it's happened all the time. It's an inconsistent Pokemon, like, and it's happened ever since the beginning of the game. This has been a
Yeah,
running theme
it's
for.
I think it's because that each Pokeball has its own RGN and it doesn't run off of one RGN with the Pokeballs, right? I think each ball has
An
its own
RNG. Yeah.
RGN and that's why it happens that way. Because if you
I think
throw
that's
a
the fun part.
Pokeball, if you throw a regular Pokeball and you get 2 shakes, the next time it could be 3 shakes. And you throw an Ultra Ball, you get 3 shakes, but the next time could not shake at all, right? You
Yep,
never know.
it's
And
random as
it's
such.
random. So I
Uh,
think each ball
Did you
has its own
try?
RNG.
Did you try? Did you try to throw a regular Pokeball in one of the legendaries?
I
That's the
don't
first thing you
remember.
did.
I really don't. I
Yeah,
just
that's
throw.
that's what. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. This is funny. The deer Pokemon, the first one, I threw a Pokeball. I almost got it after 3 shakes. First try. I
That's
went
awesome.
all the way to the end. I was like, no. I was like, no way. There's no way I'm getting this now. I threw a regular Pokeball. One, two, three. Oh, came right out. I was like, that's crazy. You
You
want to talk
know,
about 99,
that's the
9,
fun part.
99.999%. Yeah,
That's the fun part. You don't know if you're gonna get it. I love it.
you don't know.
That's what I like
I
about
don't.
the wild legendary encounters. You don't know if you're gonna catch them.
And when
This
you
one's
do, it
Therian
feels
form. Okay,
when you
sorry, it's still
when you do
catching
catch it,
Pokemon.
when you do catch a Pokemon like a legendary, you feel rewarded about it. When you finally get it, you're like, yes, finally, feels good. Feels like it's been like 100 years. But I finally got it.
Oh, damn it. Zarude is a. Hold on a second. Give me a second. Sorry, I just found out that Zarude, mythical legendary, is considered a special Pokemon you can't get in home. That sucks. I have to get it as a trade from somebody else. Fuck. I hate that.
Mm.
Sorry, this is. I'm trying to catch them all again, and these specific Pokemon I'm not going to be able to catch because of this. Until they re-release them, but we
But
will see.
I have at least like 300. I have 300 Pokemon in Violet right now.
Nice.
So
I don't know how many I have
yeah.
in. Actually, I could look it up right now. The game is open still. Oop, that's
Which
the
they
map.
have. They have a lot of Pokemon in this game. That's not every single Pokemon that's in it right away.
I have 69 caught, and I've seen slash battled 306.
69, nice.
Yes, very nice. And I've only caught a few different Pokemon that aren't the new ones, as in, not I'm not including the alternate forms or the new versions of like Tentacool and Diglett's alternate forms that are
Yeah, that,
coincidentally not them. I like that. Clever. Very good idea. Because
yeah.
not all spiders are the same. Not all bugs are the same. And not all people are the same. I really like how they did that with the Pokemon. Finally. They look the same,
I'll
but they're
tell
not the
you. I
same.
tell you what's. I tell you what's weird though. The ending credits. It's probably the first time I've ever seen ending credits actually glitch and lag. Like the actual, like when it shows the credits, it's like lagging. I've never seen that in an ending game before.
I
It's so
didn't
weird.
I didn't see that. I gotta see what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. When you finish the game, that licensed music that plays, which is like almost sounds nothing like the
Oh,
actual game.
that could be copyrighted too, so I wasn't recording that.
Yeah. So if you look at the credits, it's like it's choppy, and you'll see the credits skip in frame of animation. Even the credits have frame of animation, which is weird. It's like it's the credits. There's no animations going on with that. It's like wow. And they're playing licensed music, which is weird. You had like vocals. I'm like, wait, that's weird. Why would they be playing this? It has nothing to do with the game.
Yeah.
And it seemed like really odd. It seemed like it would be an opening of a Nickelodeon show.
Yeah.
but but overall, I mean, I really like the post credit story where you really get a lot of backstory about the future and past Pokemon,
Oh my god, I got a lot
depending
of
on.
Gengar. I have a shiny Lickitung? What the hell? I'm
Are you
sorry.
looking at your home?
Yeah, I'm going through because I'm trying to catch them all, and I just got
Yeah.
all legendary except for Enamors's normal form, and now I'm going to go through the starters and see who I don't have. I'm That's including the alternate forms for all the Pokemon that I'm trying to look for. I don't have a normal
There's a
Typhlosion. I don't have a normal
there was a
Typhlosion.
hmm,
I don't have Chikorita's evolutions or the Toad. Okay, I don't have the Gen 2 starters completed, apparently. Okay, going back to trade. Global Trade Center. Alright. Sorry, Lucario, you're not being traded for that. I'm going to save you for the mythical legendary Pokemon. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
sometimes
11
though when you have
more shiny
sometimes when you
Lucario.
have a thousand sometimes when you have 1,000 Pokemon, it's hard to really name all of them that you remember. Like if you have a good memory, you'll remember all of them, but that's 1,000 Pokemon. How many
Yeah,
can you remember?
none.
Yeah, you'll be like, first, for whatever reason, you forget who Drowsy is. You're like, who's Drowsy again? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the only one you never really forget is Pikachu due to he's the mascot.
Yeah. Even though Clefairy is supposed to be the mascot.
Was supposed to be, yeah, but they're like, maybe she's not as cute,
Yeah.
which was a smart idea
Are
to do.
you are you still collecting Pokemon cards?
Yes, actually, I have more Pokemon cards individually than I do have the Pokemon in this
Did you
game.
finally get the
No,
OG Charizard?
no. I am
No.
upset that I did not, and I wish I did.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
who knows?
yeah,
Maybe the 30th anniversary will bring them back, and I can try to get them. I ended up getting shiny Charizard, three of them. They're worth like 500
yeah,
bucks each. Wish I could sell them, but I
yeah.
can't. Nobody wants to buy
Yeah,
them.
so like a lot of my friends were like jealous because I got first edition Charizard, second edition Charizard, um, both hollow and non-hollow, and then I got the non-first edition, second edition, which is the regular Charizard. Then I got Blaine's Charizard, and I got Dark Char. I literally got every Charizard when I was young. I was like, dude, like what the fuck? I was like insanely lucky, and just in a way that I still did. Remember when we did the Pokemon cards together? I would
Yeah.
get after like many years, the first card that I would get would be full art card of what was it? Not Gyarados, Kyogre. It was Kyogre of all characters too. Full art Kyogre with Team Aqua. I'm like, what, dude? I'm still getting luck after all these years. Like, how is that possible? And you know, it's weird. You gave me that card. We're like swapping different packs. You're like, here, open this pack, and you
Yeah,
gave me the one that was for me. So it was like, that's funny.
that was
So
that was
I
kind
still
of
have
funny.
magic.
Stop magic.
Yeah,
I I'm not gonna lie. I have gotten a shit ton of rare ass Pokemon cards. Um, I'm just surprised of how common Zarude is. I have like five Zarudes, all different.
yeah.
Yes, I got the normal Regieleki key. Finally, I have two shinies, and I needed a regular.
So how long did it take to get the shiny Gallade, the future one?
It was randomly given to me as a Wander trade in Scarlet version or Violet
Really?
version. Sorry. Yes,
Oh,
And I'm like, I'm keeping him. Screw you. I'm not trading him.
yeah. You don't want to trade any shiny. I mean, when you finally get a shiny Pokemon, it's like that is the rarest of rare Pokemons. Okay,
Yeah.
and they still keep it rare because it's special. When you get like that different color Pokemon, you know it's like unless it's like the different types, but I'm talking about a different color of the same Pokemon.
Yeah.
So you know it's like because I remember in Sword and Shield, I don't remember what Pokemon it was, but I randomly found a shiny. It was my very first shiny I've ever found ever in a Pokemon game. I was like, I'm never getting rid of this. Okay, I don't even know how I ran into it. I really don't even know, but it was crazy because you can play that area and that map for like days. You'll never run into a shiny until one day you just happen to stumble upon it.
yeah.
It's like I've been grinding for like 50 hours in this area, and then you finally get it, and you're like, damn. You know, here's the thing that would suck. Here's the thing that would suck. You would finally run into it, and it runs away. It's like shit. Like Abra, like a shiny Abra. Oh, I'm gonna teleport, and then I'm gone forever.
Yeah, that's why you either use Quick Ball to try to catch it because of that. And that's why they created the Quick Balls because the Pokemon that run away, like teleport and stuff. And
Hmm.
the moves like Scary Face, or I think it's Scary Face, where they are not allowed to escape, even with using
Yeah.
moves.
Yep.
They can't not leave out of battle.
One of the gym leaders that I like, what was interesting is the one with the rap one, the hip
She's
hop
my
one.
favorite.
Yeah, and it was
She's
a
my
it was a
favorite.
dual it was a dual fight, which was in the whole game. There was no dual fights.
Yeah, I didn't know they brought that back into this game until you fought her, and she was one of the last ones that I went against too. Thinking she's
Yeah, and
supposed to be
that
the
was
last
actually
one, but she's like the second to third last one.
yeah. I do like her because it was something different, and they brought back the dual fights, and it was like the one and only time in the game where you had a dual fight. I'm like, okay, at least it was something a little different. It wasn't the same thing you're usually doing. So at least sometimes in the gym fights they changed up just a little bit, and it's kind of going back to its roots with the gym leaders because the previous game was a giant stadium, you know. And then
Yeah.
and I don't remember Sun and Moon and what the gym leaders were. Really don't remember. It's been so long since I played it, but I know it was different. Um, so yeah, it was nice to go back to its roots with it, and I like how there was three different stories. Technically four if you do the post game content.
Technically,
Um,
that's yeah, a fourth one due to it's still technically Arven's.
Yeah. You're not really doing Titan Pokemon. It's more of like you find out about his father slash mother version in whatever version you're playing.
Yeah, of what happened to him. Them being an AI actually surprised me. And I was
Yeah,
kidding
it wasn't.
whenever I was doing the voice acting when we were in Area Zero. I was like, I was doing like a machine like kind of voice, like no emotion to the speaking or anything, right? And I was like,
And the mu and the mu and the music of Area Zero is amazing. It's like the um the whole game changed. It felt like the whole game completely changed when you got there. It was like a
yeah,
completely different depth team. And actually, the graphics were a little better when you got to that area.
yeah.
And
It's probably because they only had limited room there due to
yeah,
there's nothing in the distance and it's all
yeah,
up and down. They could have done that throughout the whole thing to where
yeah,
Breath of the Wild did it this way, where everything that you saw in the distance was pretty much flat, but it looked 3D.
hmm
They didn't do that in this game. They just spawned in randomly. And sometimes, mainly the Pokemon, wouldn't spawn until you were right on top of them.
yeah. And then you would find Pokemon that you wouldn't find in the outside world anyway, like the futuristic Pokemon or the ancient Pokemon. It was
Yeah.
something different. It felt like that's the area where you can actually. It's like an exclusive Pokemon area, and it was something different. And the whole game, the whole vibe of that game felt different when I did the post game content. The post game content is my absolute favorite of the entire game
Yeah.
because the story was really interesting. It got really good at by the end, and then you fight the true final boss, and it felt like, man, like this is an awesome way to end the game here. And then you fight the legendary, and I think they did a great job with the conclusion of the game, despite the issues early on. But when they did the closure part, I was very surprised on how good they did that. I wasn't sure how the story was going to go, and then, you know, I liked the twist at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty neat, and I love the fight. The music, of course, Toby Fox that actually did Undertale, and
Oh, he
has the
was a part of
composer.
this one. Okay,
Yep.
that's cool because he makes pretty good, catchy sounding music. I would not be surprised if he did
Oh
the
yeah.
majority of the music.
He also did the entirety of Area Zero, the regular theme song, the open area. He did all of that. That's why the music sounded so good in that entire area. I mean, it honestly, like, cause I love the Xenoblade Chronicles games. I felt like I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles when I was at Area Zero, because your characters follow you from behind. You know, when you're walking down, because you can't control your Pokemon the first time you're there.
Yeah.
But when you're walking around, I felt like I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles, because the open area in that area with the green, you're going down a hill, the characters are following you. It felt like I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles in that moment.
Yeah.
I was like, that's interesting. Because the whole game felt completely different at that moment. Because the whole game wasn't like that, where characters would follow with you. And then you would go to different sections of that area, and then eventually go to the underground crystal area, which looked cool, by the way. I really liked the cave area, too. Um, it would have an echo sound, which is kind of neat, which I kind of like that effect. And
Yeah.
then when you actually fight, whatever the final boss is, whatever version it is, I felt the entire thing of that, the story, the music, just everything in that last area felt like it was worth it. When you finally did the first major three stories, and then when you got there, it felt like you were actually rewarded of just extra content. I actually really like that. I mean, it's always been post content in Pokemon's always been a thing, but I
Mm-hmm.
really think this one, in my opinion, is my favorite because it was very memorable too.
Oh yeah.
And just the fact that, I mean, come on, when you fight the boss at the end, he just drops the Master Ball as epic as possible. Just drops it.
It's like dropping the mic
Yeah,
after beating somebody. Bing! He just goes,
yeah.
"Here you go. If you win, you win, but you're not gonna win."
And then you see the AI kind of twitch, like they're kind of like trying to hold themselves together.
Yeah, their
It was
AI that are glitching, twitching, and stuff. If they were still human, you'd think that they're possessed, but they were AI,
yeah,
which was probably for some people just as creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, it
I
felt like
like it.
when you fought Nimona, it felt like this doesn't feel like a final boss. These
It should have
people
felt
feel
like
like
it.
a
It
yeah,
should
it
have
should
felt like she was a final boss fight because she was already champion before you even moved
hmm
to town. And she's like,
yep.
I want you to be my rival. I feel like you're going to be a badass. And she's like, I'm going to have a Pokemon to train up with you, alongside you, so that way I could see your progression and see if you have promise. She kept that entire team. I wanted to see her original team that she used to go against the champion. I
Yeah, I
wanted to
know.
see what Pokemon she had. That was supposed to be the final fight. Maybe
Yeah.
we're gonna get that in the DLC and be like, all right, new story. We're gonna have Nimona have this epic thing at the end, and she'll be like,
To
sorry,
be honest,
I was actually
my
holding
favorite
back.
my
Here's my real
my
team.
my my favorite like final fight was honestly against Leon in the previous generation. I really like that one a lot because that was
Because
very memorable, and he's a really likable character from the very start of the game.
yeah, I was gonna say it's because he already was already potential to be an undefeated champion. You
Yep.
don't fight him ever, so keeping the unbeatable Pokemon trainer to be also a champion, never fighting him like you do with Cynthia, Gary, or Blue, Green, whatever you want to call him,
Mhm.
and other champion like people that you would fight during the game. He's the one that you don't fight just because they know you're going to win against him. They can script it. These guys can script it to where you have to lose,
Mhm.
or in the middle of the fight something happens whether you're winning or losing. It's like you get him down to his Charizard, his final Pokemon, and then all of a sudden something happens to interrupt the fight. Come on, you could have done that. That would have been hilarious. It would have been like a Team Rocket thing in the anime where Ash is having fun battling
To
about
be
to win the
honest,
gym badge and
to
Team
be
Rocket comes
to
in
be
to steal
honest,
their Pokemon.
I feel like with all the characters you would fight in the story, it felt like everybody's friendly until you got to the true ending of the game, and it felt like there was a risk involved. You know,
That
it
yeah,
felt
and
like
everybody started showing their feelings and all that stuff, and they sounded like they were fighting each other for a little bit. And I was reading it. I couldn't read
yeah.
it fast enough out loud to have in this in the recordings or anything, but it was I had to quietly read it, and I was thinking maybe during edit I could have it to where I'm actually reading it as those characters. But I'm too lazy for that. I don't have an editor. So
hmm
whoever wants to be my editor in the future, I'll be able to do that with them. But because it's just me editing my own videos,
did you get your first reaction when you fought the Scarlet final boss? Like the first ever reaction, like, oh my
yeah,
god, this is cool.
it'll be uploaded soon. I'm trying to get all the episodes edited, and I'll be uploading them. I'm gonna try to do like 2 or 3 a day, due to they're all about 30 minutes a piece anyway.
I've
Um,
a little bit off topic though. I noticed your Zelda playthroughs has had bad like audio like issues. I've watched those
that's
parts.
because of the internet. We just updated the internet. We were with T-Mobile. Thank God he decided to switch. We're with Xfinity now, which is the best of the best.
Yeah, yes,
I
that's the one.
have no lag, and whenever there is lag, it's every once in a while, and it's almost unnoticeable.
Yeah, when you were playing Genshin Impact, it would have constant stoppage, no audio, and it would just be laggy, 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 laggy,
Yeah,
laggy.
and now I was actually going to ask my landlord if I can get my own internet, which was going to be AT&T in the first place, the second best one, not by opinion, by fact. Xfinity being the best one. Because I've already had Xfinity, they're probably going to be like, "Sorry, you can't get it because you didn't pay the bill 10 years ago," and I'm like, "Sorry." So I was going to go to AT&T. Plus, I was going to go to AT&T anyway for my next phone anyway. So I was going to try to kill two birds with one stone with that.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting
Um.
Xfinity 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago at the most, and it's
Well,
been smooth sailing from here.
hey, congrats because at least you got away from the other issue.
Yeah, now I'm gonna be getting back into Genshin Impact again. Speaking of which, I
Yep.
need to get log in for today's dailies. Not dailies, but
Yeah.
because I haven't been in a month because of this lagging. I'm gonna get back into it,
Yeah.
and they gave me the
Well,
thing again to where I can do 2 weeks worth of
I
waiting.
have a bit of an update. I know we're going off topic with the Pokemon stuff, but I have a little update about Genshin real quick here.
Okay,
Is that the Dia character, she's going to be permanent now.
who's Dia?
Remember the girl you thought she looked like a cat girl?
Yes, I do.
The
Yes. What
Yep,
do you
so
mean
she's
by she's
permanent.
permanent now?
She's going to be in the standard banner now.
Oh,
So
okay, cool.
she'll be out as a limited character, but immediately in the next update she'll be a permanent character.
Okay, that's cool.
So, and on top of that, they're going to be adding a new feature to where when you log in the game, when you do all the Archon quests, since you did Mondstadt all the way to Inazuma, you're going to get free intertwining fates, like about over 20 wishes right away.
Okay, that's pretty cool. All right.
Something they've added. So, but
Yeah, talk
anyway,
about this later. I'm very interested in this, but we'll talk about this later. We're Pokemon right now. What are
yep.
your hopes for the future of Scarlet and Violet outside of just the DLC? Because the only thing I want for the DLC is I want to go to a new area, and it looks very
Yep.
promising. Even the leaks have shown that. But Pokemon, what do you expect? Do you expect
Well,
more, or do you expect alternates? Forms, alternate forms.
well, the first thing, first and foremost, we need Pokemon Home into this.
Oh,
So we
well,
can actually,
they announced that as soon as this game came out that it's going to be
yeah,
compatible with Home, but they're going to wait because, well, the smart thing to do is when you
yeah,
have things that are compatible with each other, you don't unlock that feature until later,
yeah,
which a lot of companies have failed to do. And
yeah.
Pokemon
But
Home, I'm really excited for because I want my Hisuian Pokemon. I want my Zoroark to be in my main team because of the Ghost normal typing.
Well, you know, the theme has really been interesting. I have been really enjoying this game the more I played it, and the exploration's fun. It's honestly a very good attempt. It's got potential long term to be a really good open world Pokemon experience. And we waited a long time for an open world Pokemon game for how many years? So now to finally kind of like evolve, yet pun intended, they've evolved the formula here. So now I think with really I have nothing really to add more about this generation. What I can say is the next generation in probably 2026, which is generation 10, try to elevate the open world exploration and please for the love of God improve on the everything else that the issues of the previous of this game has. And
If anything, I would hope that the updates would come little by little, but they haven't done very much, if any at all, to fix these
you may
problems.
not know this, but Scarlet and Violet are the highest rated games for Nintendo Switch. It's even better than Sword and Shield. It's even you shouldn't be surprised, but the ratings of Scarlet and Violet is probably like top 3 of all time games on the Switch. Next to Smash Brothers Ultimate and next to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which still is number 1 of all time Switch games. So
Yeah.
I mean, Scarlet and Violet it still sells well, but outside of the besides the issues that it has, people it's Pokemon. It's a new generation. Of course, people are excited for this because it's a new generation. We waited so many years for it, and you know, I feel the next generation. What I want to say about the next generation is like I want to finally have where we have the light world and dark world. I'm gonna keep saying it until it finally happens. Okay, I want
Yeah,
like Legend of Zelda, like Link to the Past type formula here.
A Link to the Past slash Blink Between Worlds,
Yep, yep,
because I enjoyed that. Those were
yes.
my Link Between Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm haven't beaten to Link to the Past yet, but I'm barely even in that one to be quite honest. To say that one's my favorite, but Link Between Worlds became my absolute favorite real
You
quick.
know what we should just another. This is kind of one of the last hot topics, but we should do a podcast about Tears of the Kingdom because there's a lot of things I want to talk about that game because we
Oh
play
yeah.
Breath of the Wild a lot. So I'm about to finish Breath of the Wild on my channel on Monday. So I do want to talk about Tears of the Kingdom maybe when we get close to its release, maybe around April.
Uh
We
huh.
need to start really doing a podcast on that game on Breath of the Wild. What is the future of that? I just want to kind of bring that out real quick because since we're talking about Pokemon here, remember when we did it with previous Pokemon games? We always speculate what the future games would be like. So
That'd be
I
a
want
lot
to
of
do the same
fun.
thing with
Yeah,
yeah. I want to
Legend of Zelda is actually another one of my favorite titles, just like Pokemon, to
yep.
have high expectations for. Also, not just expectations, but hopes too that they would have into the game. Like, I'm playing Minish Cap for the first time ever because they finally released the Game Boy and Game Boy
This
Advance. Oh, I'm so
yep.
excited for that! Playing the shit out of those
Yeah.
games. I'm recording Minish Cap, but I'm not gonna upload it until way later. I'm gonna beat the game and then upload the episodes.
Minis Minis Cap's an interesting one. I did play it on the emulated on Advance a long time ago. It is very unique.
Yeah, a lot
It's
of
a very
people praise it too, and diminished that race has been speculated to be in this game. You know what? We're getting way off topic. This is Pokemon, not Zelda. Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Um. Okay. Now for the future of Pokemon. Oh my God, we keep getting off
Yes.
topic on
So
this.
yeah. So
Um.
let me get back. Let me get back to
DLC.
it.
We're talking about the DLC. The future of the Pokemon themselves. Do you expect alternate forms at all? Because as of right now, I'm expecting to see previous forms of Pokemon, regardless of generation, mainly Gen 1,
Mhm.
to have either alternate forms like they've been doing, or have similar forms, as in like Toadstool and Wiglet.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, but um, I feel that they might have alternate forms, kind of like Gardevoir and Gallade. They have like different forms of that Pokemon, where it's like the regular female version and then the male fighting version.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool for other Pokemons, to have a different gender. It'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
They look completely different,
Yeah.
But
Pokemon are supposed to be animals in the first place, so the seeing them having gender specific looks would actually help out because for people that don't understand this, that are part of the LGBT community, whatever the initials are, I don't really care what the initials are. I'm pro all that stuff regardless. It's just these are animals; they're not people. You got to think of them as this. In real life, we have birds that are very colorful, very pretty, and those are the males. The females are the bland brown colored, black only kind of color, while the males have this beautiful looking coat. Look at the peacock. The males
yeah,
are the ones with the big ass feathers on their butt. The females, they don't have that.
yeah,
Look at a crow. Beautiful black, and if you see their feathers in the light, you see like a blue shimmer, not a black shimmer, in their feathers. Almost said fur. And the females are black. Are brown and gray, you know,
hmm
and
yeah,
stuff like that. And whenever you look at chicken, look at the chickens, hens. There's nothing to them, right? And then you look
hmm
at the males, the roosters. They have all these beautiful colors. I want to see more of that, regardless of the gender in the game. I mean, like, I kind of wish that they would have done it with Stantler and the Deerling, or the deer Pokemon, I should say. Is the males always had the antlers and the females don't. Same with the moose. For people that don't understand, that the antlers are the male thing. And I've seen a lot of people post art on Twitter and stuff with all these characters that are female, and I know this because they call them she's, and sometimes you see things that you're not supposed to see with antlers. And I'm like, guys, unless they're a tranny, they're supposed to be male. I don't like this. It makes no sense. And if they were living in a world like ours, that would make sense, but these are animals. Even if these are anthropomorphic characters that are supposed to be like this, understandably, you're trying to do this and stuff like that, but you gotta say that they're tranny if they have antlers. You know, I would like to see.
One of one of the predictions that I had,
Uh,
remember back in Generation 7, I said we were gonna get different types of Pokemon that exist, like Sandshrew, you know, I didn't
Uh,
when I found out that that actually came true, where there were different Pokemon types of like the first generations and everything. I couldn't believe I actually called it. I was like, my
I,
God, they did it.
I was kind of surprised that you actually called that. I was not expecting him to do it at all.
Yeah. So when I brought that up, because you remember if you we did the video together, and you remember I brought it up, saying it would be kind of cool if we had a different Charizard type. Would
Yeah,
make him look completely different, and the typing weakness would be completely different. You would pretend
Mega
that he's
Evolution
never.
came in.
Yeah. But as for like DLC ideas, we do need new locales, like different locales, and bring back like Generation 1, 2, 3, kind of like bring the new generation people up to speed of Generation 1 and 2 and 3 and what they were like, how we grew up as kids, and reimagine those again. Like go through all the gym leaders again and be like, wow, like Brock and Misty and all that, and Giovanni eventually, Team Rocket, and you got Johto region, and it's like, oh man, that
Yeah,
nostalgia, man.
I'm kind of hoping that they do something with all three Pokemon in the Johto region because Typhlosion only having one thing done to him and the other two didn't. It's kind of upsetting. I mean,
Yeah,
in Pokemon new Pokemon Snap, Meganium was one of the start ones. They could have made it to where it had an alternate form, and you could have kept it for the game and not transfer it, but have it as an alternate form because of new Pokemon Snap as an
yep.
in-game playable Pokemon. That'd be pretty cool. And then for Alligator being the least popular out of the three, due to not of opinion, but fact of people choosing the other two starters
Yeah.
more, is they could just try to get him to be a little bit better because these three starter Pokemon are the only ones that all three evolutions of all three starters are single typed. They're all water, all
It'd be kind
grass,
of
and
a
all fire. No
You know,
dual
it'd be kind of
typing.
cool. It'd be kind of a cool throwback that maybe the new generation wouldn't understand. Missing number, just because.
Uh, that would be kind of fun. An homage to it, where not to bring it back to the old games, bring it back to the modern games to be like,
Yes.
what the hell? They brought it back? Masingo is the thing that was more popular than Mew under the
Yeah.
truck.
Yep. Who would
Because
have thought it'd be under the fucking truck though? You would find Mew.
the funny thing
Like,
is, they keep bringing that back as an homage in every remake of Gen 1. You notice that? They keep
yeah.
the truck there, but they have different items and they mention something about it being interesting, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because but when you're a kid, when you're playing Generation 1, you're playing the Game Boy version. You're just like you're trying. You have to literally figure out shit on your own. You can't just like somebody gives you a tip, like, oh, by the way, here's this Pokemon here. Make sure and come over here after you're done with this gym leader. No, they don't tell you shit. You just gotta figure it out.
yeah.
And somehow, when we were kids, because the internet wasn't how it is today, where you can go online and look it up.
Yeah.
Somehow, as kids, we had to really figure it out, and we got lucky
I'm
figuring out.
surprised that people ended up figuring out how to get a motherfucking Mew in the game, and the only way to obtain a Mew in that game was hacking the game.
Literally.
Like, you had to glitch the game out just to encounter Mew. That I'm surprised people figured that out. There is a lot of steps to that. How did they figure that out? Like, legitimately, I'd like to
I
know
know.
the first person that figured that out and posted that stuff and be like, this is how you get the Mew. What? How did you do that? Tell me your thought process. Oh, I figured it out by going up into this spot and automatically flying to this area and ended up being lucky enough to do this. I'm like, what made you think to do that in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, because I mean,
They should bring stuff back
that
like
would be
that.
cool. Yeah. Be like Generation 1 is like super difficult, not super easy, because I know a lot of Pokemon games now are like real easy. They hold your hand. The older games, they would not hold your hand. Okay, not.
I actually, technically, this one isn't holding your hand. You just find a ton of items out in the wild.
You do.
So,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
didn't have to buy very many Pokeballs. I ended up with more than 50 Pokeballs in Violet version just by finding them off the ground. I didn't
What
buy
is
any. Of course,
what
they give
is
you 5 or 10, whatever, at the beginning to start you
yeah,
off with.
yeah.
just to
Yeah,
teach you how to catch. But other than that, I found the rest of the Pokeballs on the ground. I didn't buy any.
yeah,
I'm buying the Ultra
yeah,
Balls, but not the Pokeballs.
yeah. But like, what was which Pokemon game would hold your hand? Literally hold your hand.
It was Sword and Shield. Even
Yeah,
though
yeah,
that they
yeah,
held your hand a lot in that one, I still had fun with it.
yeah. I actually really liked the one open area that was basically a preview of what this game is.
Yeah, that was the start of free roaming camera, go wherever you want. I
Yeah,
liked it, but the only thing I didn't like about that entire thing was the confusing weather.
yeah. Very like one area you'll be like it's raining, and then the next area is sunny. It's like what? That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to do something like that, either you keep it consistent or make it make sense. Like, at night was the most confusing one, that it was sunny. I'm like, how is it sunny at night? Say it's bright, because the moon can be bright. Or it's hot to make the fire type moves boosted because of that. Not
hmm
it's sunny and well, it's dark out. That's stupid. You gotta fucking rephrase that shit.
Yeah. So when they did that version, I was like, like this got potential. And I literally when I played Sword and Shield, that's all I did was go to that area and just explore and find Pokemon, and that was my favorite part of the game. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
but then this game here, it expanded upon it, and it just the open world was out. It was like you can go here, you can go there. It was like finally an open world, truly open world Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Obviously, performance-wise, needs to be better, but hey, it's a good first attempt for something like this. I have to give them the benefit of doubt. This is their first attempt doing a open world Pokemon game, truly open world.
Yes, I was going to
So
say Legends Arceus was like a demo though.
yeah, so when the next one comes out, I don't want to hear any fucking excuses like saying, "Oh, the game runs like shit." No, it needs to run better. Okay, if you get the
Yeah,
frame rate right and you get the graphics better, everything else about the game is fine. Like the
the
music,
graphics, yes, they do need to be better in
music,
the distance. Learn your
yeah,
lesson on that, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to
no,
be better. Like
yeah.
if you need to make sure that the frame rate doesn't drop, make the graphics a little bad, but
Yeah.
keep it in
Like
the distance.
when I was playing Breath of the Wild though, like I look in the distance, I'm like, this game is gorgeous. This is a beautiful game.
I want to say this as an example because people are fucking bullshit about this regardless. Pokemon Sword and Shield, before it came out, the trees still look the same. But they're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to buy it because the tree looks like shit. Look at the graphics. I'm like,
So,
so? Did you want it to be a solid color? Because that would make it look even worse. Do you want the tree to be so detailed that the game lags? Have graphics like that, like in the distance. But when you get close to it, make it to where it's a smooth transition, not a sudden transition.
it's like saying instead of the tree being bad, it's like saying a distance character from bad frame rate. Oh, I'm not gonna buy the game because the character's frame rate is like 2 frames. Like, come on, man.
I mean, like,
Like,
I can understand that you're trying to help make sure that the game, due to you have 1,008 Pokemon in total to deal with animations, and you're trying to make sure that the game still runs great with even all those Pokemon.
I would tell you this: the worst frame rate in the game is the bamboo area. My God, that area is brutal to go through.
Oh, I didn't notice because I went through that quickly in
The
Scarlet.
bamboo area is like the worst area in the game with frame rate. I mean, the place is cool. I love the music, but it's like, my God, it's running like 5 frames per second. It's like it's unplayable. I'm like, I have to catch Pokemon here, but it's so awful. Like, there's other areas in the game that run absolute shit. I would say, surprisingly, the better frame rate area is actually the snow area. I've actually had not too many bad frame rate issues in the snow part, which
That
is
was
weird.
actually my worst.
Yeah.
I go there all the time to train up my Pokemon. I'm surprised that one was my worst.
And the desert one's actually okay, I
But,
guess.
well, when the desert was blowing the sand, the frame rate would drop just a tad, but it wasn't
Yeah.
very noticeable. But in
Yeah,
Violet version, it was noticeable. I don't know why that
yeah,
there's a difference between the two. Is it because I was playing with
yeah,
Scarlet more?
yeah. But when you're like in a city, like the main city, my god, the frame rate, it
Yeah,
just dips. Because
yeah,
any areas that are really big, it just drops in frame rate. When it's like a smaller area, like if you're in a building, the frame rate runs fine. Which I wish the whole game ran like that. Because obviously there's less animations and everything like that.
yeah,
But again, like I said about Breath of the Wild and this, Breath of the Wild is a 6-year-old game, and it runs way better than this game entirely.
yeah.
I mean,
Even
Breath of the
even Legends Arceus was working the same way. It
yeah,
was great. The distance stuff, yes, I know, I understand animation
yep.
frame rate when it came to specific Pokemon and stuff. If you're gonna do something like that where their frame rate has to be dropped, don't put a Pokemon that requires a lot of frame rates.
The only like Breath of the Wild moment that has bad frame rate is the woods. You know, like the Lost Woods when you're in the town.
Yeah, that was my
That place
worst too.
got horrible. That's actually been the place that had the worst frame rate. So because there's so much going on, there's trees everywhere, there's so much animation, and that area has the Scarlet and Violet frame rate issues. That's the only area in the game because there's slightly a couple of issues with Breath of the Wild. That's why I have to compare Breath of the Wild to this game because it's also open world too. So, but I'm only discussing the environment stuff, like like how the game is like breed of life and everything. Scarlet and Violet don't seem like a life game. It's just Pokemon. Obviously it's Pokemon, but it's when you're playing Breath of the Wild. There's birds. There's constant noise in the background, like ambient noise. It feels like you're out there in the wild.
Yeah,
And there's an atmosphere to that game. This game feels like you're just wandering around, and it almost feels lifeless in a way. I know that sounds weird to say that. It doesn't feel like it's full of like what Breath of the Wild is. If Pokemon was like that, just random Pokemon, like it would make sense. Like say the birds are actually like random like Pidgeys or whatever, and then you have like in the distance you'll hear like noise in the background of different Pokemon, and then you know think of Breath of the Wild's art style. Put that in the Pokemon. That is like a night and day difference of what the game would be. That's what the game should look like, obviously.
yeah,
So, if the game looked like that, can you imagine the absolute like what Game Freak praise would be from that? Game Freak should go to whoever created the Zelda the games. Obviously, go to that developer and be like, we want to take that stuff from you, or if not, work with us. Do that art style with our game and make our shit better. Okay,
yeah,
because they would do that shit in a heartbeat. They would because it's a first party Nintendo game. Pokemon's a juggernaut series. There's no reason for Scarlet and Violet to run this bad. This is actually the worst performance of a Pokemon game I've actually ever played. This is crazy. Because
yeah.
I never played Legends Arceus, so I wouldn't know. But Scarlet and Violet, performance wise, is the worst of all of the Pokemon games. But I actually love the game because it is insanely fun. And that's the thing. The game is meant to be fun, regardless of the performance. As long as the game is fun, then you're okay. It's just I wish the
Yeah.
performance was better. But you can't just get everything that's perfect and be like, oh my god, this game runs at 60 frames or higher. I'm not expecting that. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild runs at 30 frames, solid 30 frames. Sometimes a little bit, maybe 45 frames, because it runs pretty good for most parts. But if you have Breath of the Wild, not just gameplay, but I'm talking about the environment, the way that the game has the piano music in the background, ambient noise, then you have all the grass that kind of moves around with the wind. Then you see Death Mountain in the distance. You see this. You actually can go there. And
Yeah.
Pokemon it feels like there's a lot of emptiness to it, in my opinion. But at the same time, I still want to go to the snow area. I still want to go here and all that. So if you
Mhm.
put Scarlet and Violet in Breath of the Wild, people would be like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest Pokemon game ever made."
Yeah.
Performances can really change the way the game is, obviously. So, and graphically too, because the game's graphics on Scarlet and Violet is awful. Besides the the model characters are fine. It's just the distances. It's like in 64 graphics. I'm like, why does it look like this? I mean, the
Yeah.
performance is like terrible, but why are the graphics so bad? It's on the Switch. It's supposed to be a little. Look at Breath of the Wild. Why does it look that good? And it's a 6-year-old game.
Even Mario Odyssey, the game
Yes,
that was out with the Switch still looks better
yes.
than that. Yes, they kind of did the same thing as Legends Arceus, to where they had it limited to areas and stuff like that, but they
These are
never
criticisms
looked
that I
bad
these
in the
are
distance.
these are criticisms that are good criticisms. I want Pokemon to be better. I mean obviously I love playing these new generations, but when I was playing like Violet, I was like, why the hell does this game run so bad? And
Yeah.
it's like I'm playing on a low end PC. Like I'm serious. Like a really low graphics card, really bad. My computer can run better, and my computer is shit. And it runs better with Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact runs like shit on my PC. My Genshin Impact game runs better than Scarlet Violet. Let that sink in.
That's yeah. That's an ouch.
Yes, that's like yeah, there's something wrong here. The Switch is supposed to be a little bit better. Super Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out 2017. And those games run better than Scarlet Violet. They came out last year. So let that sink in too. So I think Game Freak, they need to get the freak out and be like, you guys need to work. I mean, whoever
They need to
is
hire more
design,
people if
you
they
need
need that to help out with all that.
number one. The main issue why this game really flopped with its actual performance, they released this game too soon, because they already released Legends the same year, and they should have
Yes,
waited. Be
to be
like,
quite honest, I
okay,
think that was a different team with Game Freak that worked on it, to be quite honest,
yeah.
but I'm not sure. Okay.
But at the same time, they released another Pokemon game the same year, which is like that's unusual for them because they usually wait a couple of years to release a new Pokemon game. They'll
Mm-hmm.
release a side game, maybe like a remake or whatever. But you know, I know this is different to say this, but Pokken Tournament, even though it's made by a different dev team, that was a really unique game, and the game actually ran great on the Wii U. That game was actually amazing online on the Wii U, which it's crazy to say that because the Wii U had really shit online, but that game had amazing online. The game was made really well, and I was hoping maybe we would have maybe a sequel to that game, but unfortunately we're not because that was a specialized game. But still, Scarlet and Violet should, they need to learn their lesson with the performance of this game, the graphics as well. Everything else about it has potential to be really good. I felt the story for most parts are really good. The models of the characters are fine. Add voice acting into the game, please, for the love of God, because Breath of the Wild did it for a couple of parts of the game. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, hell, they added voices for the characters. I mean, Zelda and most of the other characters, and Tears of the Kingdom's going to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hopefully
I'm
more
thinking,
voice acting.
yeah, I mean, more of the instead of the memories where you had to go back in time and everything. But I like Scarlet and just future Pokemon. I'm not just talking about Scarlet and Violet. I'm talking about future games. Like maybe the DLC. Maybe they'll do some of the DLC. Maybe they'll learn their lesson. Maybe like let's improve the frame rate. Let's give the audience what they want. Don't do it just for a paycheck because you're Game Freak. I mean, you can't give Game Freak a pass on bad performance. They got to do better with that. They have to.
Yeah. I mean, like,
You know,
I know I'm kind of going back and forth with this. I'm in Pokemon Home right now on my iPad because I'm trying to get my traits. The models for some of these Pokemon do need to be updated because I just saw a
yeah.
Terrakion. His model looks like shit.
Yeah. There's
And
a lot of
then if
Pokemon
you
games.
look at the newer models that just were released not that long ago, they look
Yeah.
fucking awesome. They
Yeah.
need to. I think that's what they're trying to
Oh,
do is
you know
update
what I
these.
forgot? Another Pokemon that actually had a really cool evolution
What's that?
is what's his name?
Bisharp's
King something.
evolution.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I was like, dude, that is awesome. I was like,
I think that was a brilliant idea that what they did because we needed a king and now we just needed a queen to have a complete
yeah,
chessboard. We have Rookadee, which is the
yeah,
rook,
yeah,
and even though it's a bird, it's still cool. We have Corviknight, but I was thinking he could work better as the knight.
yeah. When I saw Bisharp because it is a chess piece, and then when he evolved into a fucking samurai, I was like, what the hell? I was not
Yeah,
expecting that.
his evolution to get that easy. You just got to make sure the Pokemon that you're killing, the Bisharps, uh,
Yeah,
were the
you have
leader and not
you
just
have you had to
random
be a Bisharp. You had to be a Bisharp to take out 3 of them or whatever else
while
it was
they're
like.
holding some king
I like
something.
the one thing I'll give Scarlet and Violet. I like the uniqueness of the evolutions where you had to do a certain stipulation. You have to do this to actually evolve this Pokemon.
Yeah, a lot of people
You
hate
have to
it, but
get.
I love it. I mean, like,
I like it
I like how
because
you have to go out of your way to do something different for every Pokemon.
like for
It's
example
just
when you
like
get
raising an animal. Every animal,
it's
even
like
if it's the
for
same one, has to
example
be different.
for for example when you get Primate, you got to get Ghost Punch or
Yeah,
whatever,
you gotta
Rampage or whatever some
do
shit
it
or
like
whatever it's
20
called.
times for him to evolve.
Yeah,
Oh
I
wow, I
like.
already
I
got the
honestly,
trade? What the
I
fuck?
actually, I actually like that because it earns you to get that evolution. It's a exclusive evolution, which I like. And it's like, okay, you got to do this, and then you evolve that. And I didn't know Bisharp had an evolution. I know because the thing is, Scarlet and Violet, I actually avoided all spoilers because the previous generations, I would look at the leaks and I would know what's going on. For this
Mm-hmm.
one, I felt I'm not going to do that because I saw the open trailer, I saw the second trailer of the. All they wanted was the legendaries. That's all that I wanted to see. And I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna wait till the game comes out now. So I saw the legendary, and then I went for Violet because I thought he looked kind of cool. Because the other one looked kind of because it didn't grow on me. There were new Pokemon. In the moment, I felt I want to pick the Jet one. It looks kind of cool, so I went with that. And luckily, hell, I got that one Pokemon that goes with the 2 swords. I mean, I didn't expect that,
Yeah.
so I lucked out with that one. But I like the evolutions that you find in the open. You just find a random evolution out there, completely random, like an Umbreon, be like at nighttime or something like that.
Yeah.
And instead of just finding Eevee is really hard to find in this game.
Actually, it is. But you find its
Really hard.
evolutions a lot easier.
Yes. It's in this farm area that you have to go to a certain location by those trees that actually the farming area. You have to like literally keep roaming around until you finally run into an Eevee. It took me forever to find me an Eevee.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'd rather just get the evolutions and get the Eevee later because evolutions are really easy. They're not hard at all, and you can find the evolutions in Area Zero anyway, so they're everywhere. But there's so many Pokemons in this game. I like how in the base game there's so much to catch, and that's kind of the point of the game. It's still fun, and but for future games though, frame rate needs to be better. I want even more exploration outside of just one region. I want another region added, or we can go to multiple regions.
Yeah.
Make it have more variety as well. Like, okay, we're in this Generation 10 region, whatever it's going to be, and then we can go back to the previous generations, like or even other newer generations of Generation 10 that's in the outside world. Make the map bigger, you know, and more exploration. We can surf to go to this area and actually get to a different region, and it would feel completely different, new different Pokemons or whatever, and you have to expand the open world exploration. I mean, they done a really good job with this because it's their first full attempt of a immersive open world game. So try to extend upon that in Generation 10. And we've already hit over 1,000 Pokemon, so let's see how much they're going to add in this next one. Whatever the new gimmick's going to be in this one now, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
I want light and dark type typings actually. Light and dark type would be kind of interesting. Well, dark types already exist. Light type would be pretty unique. Um, because you know fairy type was the latest one, right? That was the latest, newest one added, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't had a new type since then. What if we had a type called negative type? And you're probably wondering what the hell's negative type.
That can be completely different from evil because negativity didn't always have to be evil.
Yeah. What if negative type you nullify your Pokemon's abilities? Like say, you face a Pokemon, it's like negative, but it's like a bad omen. It's like a curse,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And you got to be careful because he could take your ability. He could literally steal your abilities away that you just learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also negative Pokemon, if you're a trainer, he can snatch your Pokemon away, and you'll lose the Pokemon forever. That would be
Yeah,
interesting.
that I don't think anybody would like that.
No, nobody would like it, but if you run into it, it's called a cursed Pokemon, which means it's not a ghost, it's not a dark, it's a cursed Pokemon, which is a bad omen, and they will do that to you. Be trollish. You'll lose the Pokemon that you earned. It could be a shiny too, and cursed Pokemon are basically the shiny Pokemon, but they're bad luck. They're the bad luck Pokemon. I find that would be really unique because you have the shiny Pokemon that's real pretty and shiny, but then you got the cursed Pokemon that's real dark and just it's darker than dark. It's like an evil Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be like, I don't want to face this thing because it's gonna take away my Pokemon. It's gonna steal my shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is you can't run away. You got to defeat it.
Yeah.
Now, and here's the thing: you cannot catch this Pokemon because it's uncatchable. And I would find that really unique for a next generation, a cursed Pokemon. That's what I'm gonna call it. It'd be funny if they actually called it that. It'd be like, holy shit, I called it. Because I don't think a Pokemon there's ever been a Pokemon called a cursed Pokemon. So
Technically they have. There's Coliseum games, and
yeah. But I'm talking about canon wise. Because that's
it is canon. Those
a
games are canon.
the shadow Pokemon.
They just don't have that as a thing in the main games due to, well, they're trying to keep it unique to each version, right? In
Yeah,
the Coliseum games, I think is clever that they would keep it that way to where it's only in those specific regions, right? Who
yeah,
knows? Maybe Scarlet Violet will have those regions in between uh, the two regions of Paldea and Kalos, because we already know Spain is literally just south of France. So if they do the same thing in this, maybe in between the two would be the two. Would be the two. It's the same area in both games. Would be the area, the region where you encounter the Snag'em team. That'd
hmm
be pretty cool, and you get to see the Shadow Pokemon. That would people
oh,
want Shadow Lugia.
I just thought of something really cool that I think would be very unique for how you start a game. And
What's
I'm
that?
surprised this has not happened yet. I don't know if this has happened yet in Pokemon, but you are now part of a group of one of the teams, like say Team Rocket, Team Yell, or Team Skull, but you are that part of that member, and you go through the world or whatever, and you're part of that group, and you see the group how they evolve, like what they're going on, and you're part of that group. Like when you create a character, and I think that'd be kind of really different for a
You
Pokemon game.
don't remember much from the Coliseum games, do you?
Well, I haven't played Coliseum in a long time. That's
The
why.
Coliseum game is exactly like that. You're a former member of the Snag'em team.
Yeah. Well,
You
I'm
will.
talking
I
about.
don't know why he had a change of heart. Maybe because he didn't like the Shadow Pokemon because they were actually getting hurt or something when they are in this form. I don't know. I don't really care. But that was the whole premise of that game. You're a previous member. Everybody knows who you are, and you can't
Yeah.
get away from it.
Yeah.
And from what I
I mean,
remember, people
I
are like,
played,
"Oh, you're not being a bad guy anymore. Come on, come on. We'll try to welcome you in. We'll try to
I
see if you're
played,
actually changing."
I played Pokemon Coliseum, but that was a long time ago, and I played it, and that's why I forgot because I always separate Pokemon Coliseum with the other games. I just don't really consider that one canon, in my opinion, because it
It's
never happened in the anime. So
well, it's the reason why it didn't. Well, technically, it did happen in the anime because of one of the movies. You get to see
yeah,
the Pokemon being quite evil because they have a device on their head.
yeah,
I think it's just their head, but yeah, they even had it in the first generation of Pokemon where their eyes turn red from the same device. I think where Electabuzz goes on a rampage because his eyes turn red. He's evil. Did you just burp?
yeah, yeah. Oh, wow, I'm surprised you heard that.
I'm surprised I picked that up too.
Yeah,
But
that
yes,
sounds pretty good.
but yes,
But
that's technically I think it is the start of that. But it was with Team Rocket more than it was with Team Snag'em.
what if you're the one of the Elite Four, like members, and you have
Um,
to? How would that go?
um, I don't know. They would
That
have to
that would
make it.
different.
They would have to make it to where you lost your abilities
Yeah.
to start
Or
the
like
game over.
you're one of the gym leaders, right? And you have to earn to become a gym leader, or something like that. Like I want to try to make it a little different to where it's not the same formula, but like you're a gym leader or you're part of this group or something like that. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. They do need to change up the introduction formula a little bit.
instead of just being about oh you're in the room with your mom and you got to go out and adventure, it's always been like that.
Yeah.
And then there's your rival, then there's the new professor. It's like you got to I want to see something a little bit more unique in Generation 10. That's another thing I want to see.
They should
Something
be
where
able to
you.
help you out with selecting your age too, because what if you don't want to start off the game as a child?
What if like you started the game with like, see your dad this time?
Oh, well, some games you do see your dad.
Yeah, some games, but I mean like you're off to an adventure with your dad, like kind of like
With a family
I don't
member
know.
would be kind of fun instead of a friend. That'd be
Yeah,
different. Yeah, that'd be very different.
like your brother or your sister or whatever, instead of just a random person. I
Yeah.
mean, a sibling would be interesting. Which I mean, you have your brother. He's like Gary, complete asshole. Yeah, and I mean, it'd be kind of cool, like your uncle or your aunt or whatever, your grandpa, grandma, whatever, and your actual grandpa is actually the professor. All your siblings are everybody else you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, Generation 10, they have a lot of options what they can do with the next generation. And hell, just because I don't know why I'm gonna say this, I actually want Detective Pikachu in Generation 10, just because. Just put him in the game.
Yeah, that make that canon. People want that to be canon. Make it even if you're doing voice acting. Make it Ryan Reynolds again. Fuck. I mean, like,
Yeah,
just don't get him to cuss like you did in that movie, and you're good. Yes, he did say "damn" I think a couple of times, but
yeah,
but he doesn't have to say that. I mean, like,
yeah.
great movie,
I
brilliant,
love
and they
it was
even
really
said that if this movie is successful, we'll start our own live action Pokemon movie series. Not only was
nice.
that movie was more than successful, but Pokemon, I think Game Freak was like, we'll help you fund it.
Yep.
We want that to be a thing too.
I actually was surprised that movie turned out much better than it did because I was
I
really
was
skeptical about it. I was
I
like,
was
I
expecting
really
it to
hope
be
this is
worse
good.
than what we
Yeah,
expected it to be honest. I'm like,
but
oh
yeah,
my god, this movie looks so awesome. Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. I cannot wait to see how this movie is not going to be rated PG.
Deadpool is Pikachu. Deadpool is Pikachu.
A lot of people didn't want Ryan Reynolds to be him. They wanted what's his face? The short fat guy um to be Pikachu, which would be hilarious.
Yeah,
God, I forget
I
his
can't.
name. I had it.
But yeah, back to the future Pokemon is like that's another idea that I would like is just add like other characters that weren't canon and just add them in there just because as like a nice Easter egg, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, the
See
day night cycle
Pikachu
is
in
the
the
same as
background walking
yeah.
around with a hat on, holding a cup of coffee or something from Detective Pikachu
Oh,
while you're doing a cutscene,
eh,
but it's so unnoticeable that you actually have to look in the background just to see him.
okay. Here's a DLC. Here's a DLC idea that I have for Generation 9
What's that?
is the return of the Ultra Beast.
Actually, I think they're going to be doing that anyway because Ultra Beasts are considered to be alternate dimensional Pokemon.
Yeah,
So
they're
we're probably
very
going to get
unique.
them with the raid battles that they're going to bring into this one, like they did with
Yeah.
Sword and Shield. They brought those back. I just wish that they would bring back Mega Evolution. It's my
Yes.
absolute favorite. I don't care for Dynamaxing. That's in specific areas. Mega
That's like
Evolution is during battle. You
yeah,
get to
Mega
do that
Evolution.
anytime during
When
battle.
I first saw Mega Evolution, I thought of that's like a Digimon thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I was making fun of it a little bit because it's like Digimon, but Digimon did it right.
Yeah.
Digimon did it right. Pokemon finally did
Yep.
it and turned it into Mega
Yep.
Evolution, which was smart. Instead of
Yep.
just randomly doing it, they actually have stones to do it with. Mega
Yep.
Charizard X, gotta get the Charizard X, Exium, I mean, Charizardium
Whatever.
X, whatever it's fucking called. And you had them
Yeah.
get the Mega Bracelet, or the Mega Keystone. You had to get the Keystone. And being able to like if they do bring it back,
Blaziken have one too.
especially with the Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing, they should make it to where you can put it wherever you want on your character's model. Instead of just always having it as a bracelet, you can have it as a necklace or you can have it as a belt. That'd be cool.
Um, I have a okay. So we never really, talked fully about the music because I love music in video games.
Yes,
What is your
you're
favorite?
the
What's your favorite?
one that talks about this.
Yeah.
My
So
favorite
what's your favorite
song.
theme song?
Fuck, that's a good one. I really liked the Penny song at the end.
Yes.
I I loved at least the first time I was fighting against them. The Team Star Boss Battle song.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god,
It's good. It's really good.
it was good. It was great, but they all had the same one. They should have made it slightly different from each other because they're all different
Now,
trainers.
you may not know this. You may not know this. Scarlet and Violet have different versions of the track. There's two versions of the track.
Really?
Yeah, if you listen to it enough, some of the riff parts are a little different. I
Mm.
heard two versions. I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that. It's a little detail that I do appreciate, and
Well,
because I saw it online, I was like, oh, the riff and
of course,
solo is
you would
really
be the
cool.
one to notice it, and not me, because you're the one that's more into music than I am. I
Yeah,
listen to it, but I'm not like trying to make it
yeah.
into like
Like
music videos like
analyze
you
it.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, music in video games for me is very important, especially in the moment or whatever. And if it sounds really good and memorable, like for example, I love the Area Zero theme, like the main theme with the choir in the background, and then the actual battle theme, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the true final boss theme with by Toby Fox, which is incredible. Um, I love the 8-bit part of the theme too, where it has that little Mega Man 8-bit theme
Well,
moment
you
to it.
had that. I have Scarlet. I didn't get that probably.
Yeah. And then just the overall theme was actually really good. You know, when you fight your gym leaders and all that. And the Elite
Yeah.
Four one's pretty good too. The Elite Four theme's pretty good.
Yes,
Um,
especially the Champions one. That one was pretty good too. If you didn't get the glitch, um, I had the
the glitch.
glitch. I had the glitch. I really did. I had the glitch. Good thing is I had to redo all that crap, so I didn't get the glitch the second time.
Oh, and when you're on the west side of the map, it plays a Western theme, which I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
don't know if
that's
you
cool.
noticed me saying this during the gameplay, but I go, "This town ain't big enough for the two of us." I am so stupid with it, but it worked.
Yeah. I do like how in the different areas of the region, the music will change. It's not the same music over and over and over again. At least they change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
When you
Um,
go to the north side, it sounds different. The east and west and south, it's just
they even make
the
it
battle
sound
theme.
like you're in the snow whenever you're listening to
Yeah,
that music because it's all,
yeah,
because it's so pretty and
yeah.
elegant looking. They try to make the music the same way, where it's like you're listening to the ice glisten with the
Yep.
music.
I like that touch too, because it's
Yeah,
not like when you're in the desert. It has that little western feel, but you hear the wind blow. You hear like the the little hay thing that actually moves around.
the
You know,
tumbleweed.
the tumbleweed. That there are everywhere in the game, by the way. Remember that tumbleweed Pokemon?
Oh God, I cannot believe they made that.
Yeah,
I am generally surprised. They didn't even make it look different for its evolution. That's
yeah,
another disappointment. Pokemon, um, like if the first form looked like the way it does, and then they evolved it to make it where it was, I don't know, a fire type looking bush,
yeah,
that would be better. But it's just a bigger tumbleweed.
yeah. It's like Dunsparce. It's like
They done them
Dunsparce.
wrong. They
It's like
done Sparse wrong.
they finally give him an evolution. It's the most disappointing one of all. I was like, really? After all these years, you finally give him an evolution, and he looks exactly the same, just slightly bigger.
Everybody was like, give him a snake form, give him a dragon form, and stuff like that for his evolution. I'm like, hell yeah. I see that he has an evolution. And I'm like, I can't wait to see it. And I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, man, I can't wait to see the Dunsparce evolution. Wait, why does
Yeah.
he look different?
Like, why didn't he not look
Why is
different?
his
He
name
looked,
Dun Sparse? Dun Sparse. They fucked up the name.
well, or it should be Dunsparce.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, yeah,
Mousehold. I understand why they did that. Makes sense.
yeah,
But giving
yep,
him two different forms for its evolution to evolve it into, same with Dunsparce, I should say, to evolve it into the 3 household or the 4 household or the full house, whatever they called it. Same with Dunsparce, getting the 2 or the 3 sectioned.
yeah.
Depends on their personality. How the fuck am I supposed to know its personality?
Mm,
That's what it said in Cerebi when it first came out, and in Bulbapedia, Bulba Garden.
yeah,
It depends on their personality. Explain to me how I'm supposed to know their personality. Is it their uh, uh, um, is it their ability? Is it their nature? Is it their attitude? Is it a
yeah.
move? Is it the way you train them? Do you pet them? What is it? Is it like Sylveon,
What
where their hearts have to be 3 in order to get to evolve into Sylveon? They have to have 3 hearts, and you got to do the same with Mousehold. You can't get the
um
4th unless you have them 3-hearted.
what is the funniest glitch you've seen in the game?
I fell through the ground.
You did?
I fell through the ground and I couldn't get out. And the good
Really?
thing was I had the swimming, so I was able to explore the entire map underneath it.
Wow.
I could not get out. I don't think I had the climbing yet. I don't remember, but I fell through the map. I don't remember how, but I fell through the map, and I'm exploring the entire map. Pokemon are still showing up, by the way, in the water. Under the map is water.
Wow. Wow.
And when you get stuck in the game, it's supposed to transfer you back out.
Yeah.
I avoided that. I was under the map. I tried going to the edge of the map to where you can go into the ocean, the open water, to see if I can get out. Nope. The wall is there. You can't go through.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my glitch. And one of my
Funny.
favorite ones is when you see Pokemon in the walls. It's hilarious. I got tricked a
yeah.
couple of times thinking that they were the shiny Pokemon, but their faces were just changing
It's
color
funny.
because their
It's
face was
funny.
only sticking out, not the
It's
body.
funny. It's like when you're in the battle, you're fighting a wall instead because the Pokemon feeds into the
Yeah.
wall. It's hilarious. It's like you're fighting a wall. It's like
I think I did that
uh
once. That one's the most noticeable one on my end.
yeah.
But that's harmless as long as it's not a shiny Pokemon.
Have you ever fought a Pokemon that's completely invisible because it's a glitch? You're fighting an invisible Pokemon.
No, I haven't fought it unless you count them being in the wall as invisible. But no, I've heard them, and I was trying to find them, but I couldn't
Yeah.
encounter them because I could hear them, but I couldn't see them. I don't know if that was them being invisible.
There is a lot of funny glitches in this game, and
Yeah.
I mean, but have you ever had any weird issues in the game where it like you start up the game and all of a sudden it like it resets or like have you ever had any crashes in the game like
Nope.
where the game crashes? I'm surprised honestly.
No, none. Absolutely none. The
I've
only
never had any of that.
glitch that I've had is falling through the ground, and if you can consider it a glitch, is the Pokemon being in the walls. I see that as like, oops, the way we were positioned, they ended up in the wall. Sometimes, yes, I could see them phasing through the wall. Ghost types make sense.
Did you know in
Um,
the beginning of the game, when you start the game though, there's somebody that actually threw a Pokeball from a like level like 20 Pokemon and caught the Pokemon at level 20. And you're like level
no.
like 5, you can do that. You can literally throw a Pokeball from a distance and fight that Pokemon and actually catch it early on in the game.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah, I knew about that. I've been doing that in Violet version. I don't have any badges. I just started riding the Miraidon, and I
Yeah.
ran around the entire map trying to look for the Mankey.
Yeah.
And while I was doing that, I was doing Wonder Trade, and that's how I got a lot of badass fucking Pokemon.
That's a good thing about the open world exploration. You'll find a Pokemon level 55 and you're level 25.
I actually have all the Paradox Pokemon futures forms in my Violet version because of the Wonder Trades.
Yeah. My favorite one is of course the Galate. I really like the Galate one a lot. It's so sick. I mean, it was really hard to find it when I was roaming around, and I was like, oh my god, there it is. It took forever.
Yeah,
um, it's got a scythe, which is cool.
yeah.
And yeah, like when I saw the future Pokemon, like the Gallade one, I'm like, wait a minute, what is that thing? Wasn't expecting it to look like that. and I would see other Pokemons like that, like Vespiquen, not Vespiquen. What was it? What was it? The Moth one. The it's the fire one, whatever it is.
You mean not Volcanion. I know who you're talking about. It's Volcarona.
Volcarona, yeah, that one. There was a metal one of that too, which was interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
and I was seriously disappointed in the future Pokemon. Why are they all robotic digital Pokemon? Why?
hmm,
Like legitimately, why? I understand a couple of them being
did you
mechanical
did
or
you finish
digital.
did you finish the story of Violet, like Violet
No,
at all?
I haven't even
Maybe.
started it yet.
Well, yeah. When you get to the story of it, you'll know why they actually look like that.
Oh,
So
okay,
yeah,
so the story is different.
yes, the story is different because you're playing the ancient one. The
What the
future
fuck?
one,
I haven't.
yes.
I have a shiny ice cube. I
Hmm.
did not know that. His ice
Yes,
cube is pink.
the story focuses is all on future Pokemon. So once you get to that, it's gonna be because you're focusing on the past Pokemon, the ancient Pokemon. So when you get to the end of the game in Violet, you're gonna get the futuristic and why everybody looks all metal-like. And like you said, it's like time travel. So you're gonna get a really unique story out of this. But
Okay, that's good to know.
the way how it plays out is very similar to the last game, but the lines will be a little different. So you're gonna notice like why, because I do like the explanation on like why everybody look metal. It looks so weird. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so
That's good to know.
yes, yeah.
Good
You're
thing
really
I'm
curious.
streaming this shit too.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, clarification is always good.
Yeah. Oh, I do
Did
have
you?
the Lycanroc Dusk form. Oh, his model needs to be updated in here.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that looks like shit. Lycanroc's Midnight.
Who's your favorite new Pokemon outside the starters? Like who? Which favorite new Pokemon do you like?
I actually don't really like the starters all that much in this game, but so far my favorite one is just because I love those movies is Koraidon because he acts just like fucking Toothless. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, I fucking adore that, and I want more of that.
Mm.
I want him to come out of the Pokeball during the cutscenes and act like Toothless some more. I want to see the meme one where he's trying to flirt with the other Koraidon, right? Like
Yeah.
how Toothless was doing it with the white Toothless. I want to see the exact same scene done with Koraidon. It's my favorite scene because he's so derpy looking.
Yeah. But I like the coin Pokemon that evolves into an actual like looks like Gumby. It's kind of neat.
He looks like a
Yeah.
string cheese Gumby man.
He does, yeah. And I didn't even
Actually,
know he had a
doesn't string cheese have a mascot that looks like that? Let me take a look.
I actually didn't even know that treasure Pokemon can evolve until I
Neither
looked
did
it up.
I.
I was like, oh, you have to get 1,000 coins and actually make him evolve. But he actually, what's cool about this Pokemon, you have to literally learn like new abilities of everything. He actually has no abilities from the beginning, but when he starts getting abilities,
Oh
he
my
gets
god, he does look like the string cheese mascot. I didn't. Hold on, give me a second. The only difference is he's not wearing sunglasses. I'll send it to you in a sec. You'll see. I was like, I swear to God, he looks very similar, if not is looking like him. He looks exactly like him. Okay, I sent it.
yes, he does. That is hilarious.
Where's his skateboard?
Yeah, that is.
No, wait! He does have a skateboard! Doesn't, doesn't he have a skateboard?
Doesn't he?
I swear to God, this Pokemon has a skateboard.
To be honest, I think this Pokemon is probably my favorite because he's very unique, very original, and
I don't think he's original due to he looks like the string cheese guy. But
I'm talking about in a Pokemon game, like just looks a little different.
his name is Golden Goal. Is that his name, Golden Go?
Golden Gold, I think so, yeah. Or is that the treasure one?
Yeah, that's his name, Golden Go. Gimme Ghoul is the first form,
Yeah,
regardless of a treasure chest or not.
yeah.
Well, I understand why they made the 1000th Pokemon, if it stays that way, gold.
Yeah.
But they could have done a better design on it. He just looks like string cheese.
I mean, I kind of like it. Like once you actually get him in the game, he actually is kind of cool. Like, cause at least
I
when
bet
I
he's
finally got him,
strong.
he probably yeah. Like I just got him. He was my 300th Pokemon when I got him. So I was actually pretty happy because he's actually a little bit better than I thought he would be. Like, I didn't really know what to think when I first saw him, but when I first evolved, I was like, oh, because you know sometimes the in-game model, you'll have a different opinion on him because you never really got him before.
Okay,
So
just letting you know, for anybody that is wondering why I found this so quickly, I typed in string cheese mascot into Google Images, and the first image that pops up is what's his name again? Um, Golden
Gimmigle,
Go, Golden
Golden,
Go,
yeah,
with the string cheese package mascot right next to him. Very first image, and you keep
wow,
scrolling through, you see them both everywhere.
yeah.
No joke. I mean, like,
It's honestly amazing how people can see a certain Pokemon and immediately reference it with something else.
yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Not gonna lie, I enjoy seeing stuff like this. I really do. But
Yeah,
whenever it was the 1000th Pokemon, I wasn't. I don't. Why? Why? If you're gonna do a gold Pokemon and make a reference to your previous stuff, like with the Pokemon cards, you remember the break cards?
yeah, yeah.
Why not have like an epic legendary Pokemon being the 1000th one and not just a ghost that you
I
found everywhere?
I honestly, in my opinion, I kind of find this really unique as a Pokemon because you know, legendary would be too obvious. I think you got to change it up a little bit. That's just me because like again when I first got him, I was
Make
like,
it semi legendary at the very least if you're not going to make it
yeah,
legendary. I
yeah,
expected it to be legendary, to be honest.
yeah.
Oh boy, is this
Hell,
a real life legend? Ooh. Sorry, Nintendo. I mean, Game Freak. But that was a terrible 1000th Pokemon. In my opinion, I really wish it was something else.
yeah. But oh.
Not the string cheese guy.
If he had shades, you probably would praise. You'd be like, "Oh, that's cool."
It- um, technically, he already has them. It's just they're just not black. He's all gold with a
Yeah,
belt that's black,
yeah,
and it looks
yeah,
like a coin on the front, a
yeah.
silver coin.
It is a very strange choice for a 1,000. I'll give it that. But I mean, it's something that nobody would expect to be a bunch of coins in a figure. You know, looks like he would be literally straight out of Gumby. Like Gumby's like closest cousin. He's all gold.
Gumby is clay, and this guy is gold.
You know, if there's a break card, it'd be like he needs to be more gold, more golden.
He needs to be shinier. Make him
Yeah.
shiny.
Well, actually, look up what does this shiny version look like?
That's a good question. What was his name again?
What if he's like silver color or like a platinum or something?
Make him black for black gold, because that's a thing. What's his
Yeah,
name? Let me see his name. Golden Go, right? Golden Go?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, golden ghost shiny. I've actually never seen it.
Oh, his name is spelt like ghoul. Golden Go is what he. Okay, that's how you say it. There we go. The first one that showed up was shiny. He's silver.
He's silver, huh?
He's silver. I was expecting black because black gold is even rarer. Why not make his original form silver and make the shiny form gold?
Yeah, because it's shiny, you know?
Yeah,
It is.
his shiny form
It,
would be actually called Golden Go, while his regular form could be Silver Go.
yeah. It kind of went backwards on that one.
Sylvan Go. Yeah, it's
Sylvan,
backwards. Unless it's supposed
yeah.
to be Platinum. Make it.
Maybe platinum. Platinum is supposed to be more than gold, right?
Yeah. Is it just me, or does it look like his waistband looks like a sensor bar over his crotch?
What on the gold one, or the?
Yeah, the Golden Go looks like.
It
It
does.
looks like a sensor bar.
It does.
I think he's supposed to be platinum and not silver.
Yeah.
Because that's even rarer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it's a platinum and not silver. Otherwise, that's downgrading him
What if they actually
in
added like
value.
instead of the shiny Pokemon, they call it the platinum Pokemon, which are actually even more rare than the shiny.
Actually, rumor was going around for a while that they were going to do that. Make a super shiny is what they were going to call it.
Yeah.
They even
luck trying
showed
to find
signs
one.
of that in Legends Arceus because they were talking about the shiny Pokemon, and they get you to encounter story wise a shiny Ponyta, which because the only other game that you encounter a shiny Pokemon is Generation 2 Red Gyarados.
Yep, I remember that.
99.9% of people first shiny Pokemon is the Red Gyarados that has been playing since the beginning. Outside of
At the
that,
time, at the time, what did you think of the red Gyarados when you first saw it? You thought like, why is he
that's
red?
that's cool. I like that. I thought that was a very unique, and I thought that was the first time they were going to start showing different colored Pokemon
Yeah.
as different types and not as shiny forms. Later on down the line, shiny was an unofficial name that was given by the fans, and later on down the line, further than that, I think it was Gen 4, is maybe Gen 5, when they officially kept the name official as shiny Pokemon. Because
Yeah.
the shiny look that they give whenever you find them. Bling. And I don't know if you heard about this, but people were very upset that when we found shiny Pokemon in the overworld in Scarlet and Violet, that you wouldn't hear a sound, a glistening or anything. Legends
Yeah. Yeah.
Arceus has that sound where you're just roaming, running around, and all of a sudden you hear bling, and you're like, wait, what was that? Where's that shiny Pokemon? That means a shiny Pokemon was around. They took that out of Scarlet and Violet, and it pissed off a lot of people, and we're all thinking, how many shiny Pokemon have we missed because of this? I'm curious too. How many did I miss? My first shiny Pokemon is a Deerling in this game because I was trying to kill it with my Pokemon on the Let's Go feature. I was just kill it. Why aren't you killing it? So I was like, maybe it's a glitch. So I ran into it and it glistened. I'm like, this Deerling is a shiny. I didn't because Deerling goes from being yellow to pink. I was very unnoticeable to me, and
Yeah.
I was like, I was thinking pink was the original color at first, so I didn't think two thoughts about it. I already killed all the rest of the Deerling around it, and this Deerling was pink instead of yellow on the flower, and I was like, why aren't you killing it? Must be glitch. So I ran into it to get the experience points. Turns out it was shiny. I caught it. I ended up finding another Deerling the same way. Off camera, I think, if I remember correctly. But my first shiny Pokemon from the Scarlet and Violet Pokedex is actually Pawmi.
Mm.
While I was playing Violet, you, I don't know if you hear the audio of me saying it because I don't know if I was muted. I was like, oh my god, my first shiny Pokemon that's in Scarlet and Violet. It's Pawmi. And I was looking and I'm like, why does this one look different? Is this a shiny form of Pawmi? And I run up to it and I get closer to it and I'm like, oh my god, it's got to be a shiny. It's different colored. I hit it. I run into it and get into the battle. I'm like, yes. Oh shit, I hit the mic. I was like, yes, it's a shiny. My first Pokemon that's a shiny in the Scarlet and Violet Dex. And not Deerling. Deerling is everywhere. That's why.
Yeah, that Pokemon is everywhere in the map.
Yeah, it makes sense because Deerling is the only Pokemon that's capable of being everywhere. They don't hibernate. Kind of
Yeah,
surprised that you get to see
but I think that's that.
bears.
I know I could add more, but I'm like, I think that's like kind of it for like my thoughts of Scarlet and Violet.
We'll be
Does that
coming back with the DLC, if they ever do, review
yeah,
on that too, and see how much we like that in the future. Because I was not expecting to do this, to be quite honest, but it was a really good idea to
yeah.
do this. And I was like, we need to do this, and
We
you
yeah we
agreed.
gotta.
I'm so glad you agreed on that.
I've had fun just to talk. I mean, we kind of like literally talked over each other so many times because hell, like both of us are Pokemon fanatics. I mean,
I'm a
you know,
yeah. I'm actually considered to be like a in-game universe Pokemon freak because
yeah,
of how nerdy I am with the series, and you're more of like scientist level where you know of them and you do a little
yeah,
bit of studying on them, but
yeah.
you're not into it like the nerd is, where his life is
Yeah, like you're
dedicated to Pokemon.
really like you know where every ounce of like type, you know every ounce of like
Yeah,
every
and
possible detail, like
yeah.
every detail possible, and but but you're not really gonna find anybody that you have a friend that you know Pokemon more than I do. You
Actually,
know, you
no. Even our friend, um, Scruffy. I was trying
yeah,
to remember his gamer tag just in case he doesn't want to use his real name.
yeah,
His knowledge in Pokemon is just basic.
yeah,
And he says the reason why he doesn't want to play Scarlet and Violet is because of how buggy it is. And I'm like, dude, play the fucking game and not worry about the fucking bugs. You may not encounter them. I went through the entire game and only encountered one major bug,
yeah.
surprisingly,
As long as the game is fun for you, it's gonna be fun. It's open world. I mean, it's the first really attempt at an open world Pokemon game.
and was a
You got
great
because
attempt. It really
and
was. It could have been better,
because
but it was great.
yes, yes. I overall my thoughts of Violet because that's the one I played. I actually thoroughly very much enjoy it, and by the enjoyment of the game, this was by far one of the better Pokemon games. Because I didn't play Legends, so I can't compare those two. Because this one is
Yeah.
fully open world, so I enjoyed this more than Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon.
And that says a lot about Sun and Moon too, because the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I believe, is the better versions of the Gen 7. I almost
Yeah,
forgot what gen. There's
yeah.
too many
We're
gens.
yeah. There's
And I enjoyed it because the Ultra Beast story at the end was much better. You get to travel and stuff like that. I enjoyed that. But this one doesn't have any of that stuff in this game. At least not yet, if it's going to be.
yeah. Yeah,
And
I mean, I think like if I wanted to rank this one, I mean it's really good, but it's not the best Pokemon game ever made because of the performance holding it back, and
yes, I
some of
think
the
Gen
story is a
5
little
is still
weird.
the best out of them all, opinion
But
wise. I don't care if
yeah,
anybody says, like, Gen 5 was the worst. Guys, it was the last 2D. It was the
yeah.
best.
But for me, my favorite gen, I mean, it's Generation One's the one I just love
Gen
that
1.
game. Yeah,
Gen 1er.
I mean, yeah, it's just yeah,
Hey. A lot of people like Gen 1. With the remakes, I do like Gen 1 a lot because the
yeah,
remakes showing, hey, yes, it was the worst one out of all of them, but it was the start. Here's a
yep,
remake of it.
yeah.
And another remake. A remake of the remake. And the
Yeah,
remake of the remake's
Leaf
remake.
Green, Fire Red, Leaf Green is a really good one too. It even mixed in Generation 2 and 3. They just added other Pokemons in there and they added like another like region to it, which was
Yeah.
neat. I like that.
It's funny,
So,
with how much of a nerd I am with these games, I haven't 100%ed story wise every game. I've gone through almost all of it. The reason why I haven't done it with the older games is because, for some reason, when you shake the cartridge, they would re fucking set.
well,
Oh
I'll tell
god,
you
that was
this.
annoying. My Fire Red and Leaf Green reset 3 times because it got shooken on accident.
I tell you guys this. He's more nerdy about Pokemon, but I'm very nerdy in the Genshin Impact. Okay, I got my friend into it. Okay,
Yeah. There you
yeah, so I'm a person that's like all about that game. I'm into the story. I'm into the lore. Same thing.
Basically, our
Characters.
roles have traded for Genshin Impact as of
Yeah,
Pokemon. I He's everything
Yeah,
Genshin
he didn't
Impact.
know anything about Genshin Impact until I showed him the game. Well, actually, he saw a character Amber that I thought looked like Ruby,
I actually
and
thought was Ruby from the show Ruby by Rooster Teeth. If you guys are wondering,
yep,
due to I knew they were going to change her model up, but I thought that was that model.
nope.
Turns out no, it was Genshin Impact,
And
and boy did they have fun with that model
yep.
on
And on
online.
top of that, when I showed him the game, he thought it was just a regular anime, which of course it's going to turn into an anime now,
Yeah,
and
I'm kind of glad too because maybe the English voice actors would be coming back for these characters too,
yes,
especially for Razor, my favorite
yes, yes, Razor's great.
English dubbed. He
Yeah,
plays Natsu Dragneel in Fairy Tale. I love his voice.
yeah.
It's
Again,
not the
another.
toughest and it's not the weakest.
I got my friend into Fairy Tale. I know we're going completely off the rails, but I'm just saying that, I we grew up with Pokemon, so
We grew up with Pokemon.
yes,
Yes.
and we there was a time where I stopped playing it for a couple of years, and I got back into it when he had X and Y, and I was like, Greninja was like my favorite at the time for that
Still
one.
is.
Yeah,
It still
and
is, isn't it?
yeah, because it just looks cool, I mean, and
do you like the
Generation,
Do you like the Ash form Greninja?
it's kind of cool. I don't, I, it,
You don't have
it's
to
a
like
name.
it if you don't like it, dude. It's a design that not everybody will like. I don't really
Yeah,
like how it's called Ash form
yeah.
Greninja.
That's what I mean. I like the form, but I'm not. The name is just kind of weird.
The name is stupid.
Yeah, Ash Grenade. I mean, it's like, come on.
That nearly canonized Ash Ketchum in the game world, and I'm sitting here thinking, no, don't make him canonized because he's supposed to be the replacement for Red.
Yeah,
And if you have them both in here, how the hell are we going to have a. This is a paradox. And I think they're trying to do that because of the new paradox Pokemon we got.
it's good. It's good to have this conversation of like things you like and dislike or whatever.
Yeah.
Opinions is good. You
I
can't just be
love the
like,
shows. Like, I think they're great. I just think that having Ash canon in the games is just going to break everything.
yeah, yeah. But it's always good to have like your own opinions and maybe have ideas that you didn't know that I brought up, or if ideas you brought up, and it's like, oh, like we brought that up on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
You learn something new, like when you look in the distance of a Pokemon, like you told me, you're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
um, so that's what's good about we're learning on the fly as we go through. Even though we know so much about Pokemon, there's still things you need to learn. There's new stuff that's added that makes it fresh, and some stuff that obviously they need to improve on, and I hopefully they will in Generation 10. So
We will
and
see. And
whatever, yeah,
fingers crossed
yep,
that the one thing I want that should have done in this one is voice acting. If they,
yes,
not gonna lie, because of our age, we grew up with Pokemon and we were around the same age as Red started off on his adventure,
yep,
and they have aged him to be the age he was supposed to be when Sun and Moon came out. He was in his 20s, as were
yep,
we.
yep,
Now that Sun and Moon, Scarlet and Violet are out, and the DLC may come out with more characters in it, hopefully bringing back some old ones like Red and Blue, they would have voice acting. I would really like to be, honestly, I would really like to be the voice actor for Red. I don't think I'm the best, but I want to get into voice acting, and I think Red would be a good one for me, even though that he's probably slightly older than me. I think I would be a good one because I've been practicing with voice acting for quite some time on my own time,
yeah,
and I think just doing my regular voice would fit him better. To be honest, I mean, like instead
yeah,
of being like, "Oh, I am the best. You can't beat me." Yeah, no, no. I see Blue, Gary, whatever you want to call him, to be the kind of like that kind of voice, like, "Huh, you can't get me. I'm the best." And Red would just be like, "Okay, let's just battle and see who actually is the best."
mm,
Just a
yeah.
normal
But
voice, nothing special.
overall, I actually do enjoy Violet, and I like that some of the new Pokemon that's been added. There was
I
a lot of surprises that I was like, well, like just like Annihilate. I was like, dude, that's so cool. I didn't
yeah.
even know he had an evolution.
Neither did I. This is
Yeah,
that's why I like being spoiled free because when you see the new shit, you're like, what the fuck? Oh god, that's so
yeah.
cool! Or oh
This
my
was the
god, I can't
first.
believe that's a thing.
This was the first Pokemon game since probably Sun and Moon where I kept it spoiler free because those previous games I just knew what all the evolutions. That's why I picked the Rowlet because I knew Decidueye was the coolest one in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually do like Decidueye a lot more than the others. I still do
Yeah,
like Litten, but I don't
yeah.
like Incineroar as much as I do like Litten. And
They
I
made it.
think
They made
that
Incineroar actually more animated in Smash Brothers than they did in his actual own game.
well,
So
that's because in Smash Brothers they actually have to have more movement because of the stuff that
yeah,
they do in that game.
yep,
And because it's not like Pokemon, where yes, there is a shit ton of characters, but it's not as many characters that they have to animate.
yeah,
They still
yeah,
I mean, like they have things in there that they can make different, and it's not an open world; it's a platforming game,
yep,
and you only have one stage that to play on.
yeah,
The backgrounds are like a movie, and it's not part
yeah.
of the
Like
level.
hazard, they're like a little hazard in the background.
Oh,
So
I don't do
some
hazards.
yeah, I usually turn that off. But yeah. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I actually think it's solid. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing, I guess. And it's the first truly open world Pokemon game that we've been clamoring for forever. And a really good attempt. And whenever the DLC comes out, when we get it, well, I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to do with it.
Same here. They always have something covered up with clouds in every
Yep.
map that they would show. That area that is blocked off that you cannot climb for some reason
Yeah, you can't. I've
is
tried
one of
going
the
there. Like,
areas that's covered up by the clouds. And there's
yep.
no other place on the map that shows a hidden area unless they bring in boats to take you to another island.
Yep. Kind of like in like remember when Genshin Impact they would show like a plain area. Remember like the dragon spine, it would look plain and then it would be super detailed
Yeah,
after the
after they
update.
updated it to where you can access it now, the detail
Yeah,
goes from being plain mountain in the background to very detailed mountain in the background, showing
yeah,
that you're capable of getting to it now. And I like
yep,
that. It goes from a 2D model to a 3D model.
yep. And like in a span of an update.
Yeah, and
I
like,
mean that's
great.
what's amazing, and that's a free to play game by the way if you're wondering.
PC and PlayStation only
Yep.
at the moment.
And the Switch version apparently it's like in an endless loop where it never re-release because they revealed that the game will come out on the Switch, but it's like indefinite delay. They just don't know when it's ever gonna come out. It's hilarious.
They're coming out with a Nintendo Switch 2, so they're probably not going to release it until
Yeah,
then. If anything, they
yeah,
were smart enough, they would put it on the Switch now.
yeah, yeah, and have it on the go, which would be cool. Not the mobile version, obviously, and but I'm talking about the Switch will run a little bit better than the mobile, but because the mobile's like
The bad part
I don't.
about the PlayStation version is you cannot cross platform it. You cannot transfer the data over the PlayStation, as of like how Pokemon is doing now, where the data is stuck in that Switch and not
Yeah,
in the cartridge, which
yeah.
sucks. I wish it wasn't like that.
But yeah, so what would you rank Scarlet and Violet? I mean, since you played Scarlet first, and I know you're
Scarlet
playing Violet.
version, at the moment playing Violet, so I can't rate that one quite yet. Outside of the glitches, not including glitches, due to I literally only had one, two if you consider the Pokemon being in walls as one. Is because of the story, I have to rate that pretty high. Out of the 10, I have to say it would be a 7 to 8, between 7 and 8 for the
Mm-hmm.
story. Great story. All three of them were pretty good, even though I didn't like the Team
The
Star
Star one,
being
yeah.
bullies, becoming bullies to bully them out of school, which is stupid, fucking stupid.
The only thing I actually the Penny one was actually good by
The
the end of it.
the end of it with Penny, because the music was the reason why I liked it, but I was kind of hoping that she had something different about her with her evolutions. I expected her to
Yeah,
have the evolutions, if not an Eevee, on her team. and because I expected I was right, and I was kind of hoping that would be better, but
Yeah.
I was disappointed in her team. It was
But
all easy.
the Titan story was like really good, like surprisingly
Titan's
good.
story is, I wouldn't say he's a perfect 10 out of 10,
No,
but it
it's not,
was
but
9 out of 10 for sure for me because of individual story wise. I rate that one pretty high because of how emotionally invested you get into that. It was so upsetting.
yeah.
Oh my god. I felt that so much to the point when I don't know if the episode is up. If you want, you can watch it. You can see my reaction to it. You get to see the edit that I had to do, the jump cut
Yeah.
of my reaction to it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, all right, guys, I can't. I'll be right back. And you see the jump cut with me back saying the reason why. What was that, like encounter number 2, or was that encounter number 3 of the Titans that you find out why he's doing that? And I'm just upset. It was that good. I mean, like, it got me, and there was no voice acting. Imagine if there was voice acting.
Yeah.
It would be a
Um.
it would honestly, in my opinion, be a perfect
Yes.
10 because of that. That emotional tug that it got me to do because I've experienced that stuff before. Of course they would pull that in. Of course they would
Um.
do that. And I'm so glad because it was not just dark, but it was a real thing to encounter too. And now the final story of the 3, Nimona, being as tough as she was a lot of fun. I loved how she was really good with her acting. Like I, all right. Out of everybody here, I'm the most excited because I've been waiting on you. Come bring it on. We're going all out right here, right now. And the
Yep.
Pokemon battle starts, and at the end, she's like, "Oh my god, you actually beat me! Finally, yes!"
Mhm.
And I'm like, I like that.
Yep.
I've been that way. I don't know if you remember in Super Smash Bros. Brawl when it came out, I was undefeated. The
Yeah.
closest person to beat me was Justin, and he was my toughest opponent, but I would still win against him a lot more than I would lose, right?
Remember when I know that again we go off topic a lot. When, Melee, you were like the best.
I was godly considering, and I wasn't doing any of the hacks that people like to
But
do.
then you saw what I have done over the course of the games later on, and now when I was facing you, you would never beat me. I was like, oh my god, like what
It's
happened?
because I actually stopped playing after Brawl came out, sadly. I played a
Yeah.
little bit for the others, but that was pretty much it. Just doing the story, getting all the characters, except for the DLC characters when it came to Ultimate. I haven't gotten them yet. But we digress. The story wise, of all 3 of them together, it would be like a 7 to 8. But the Nimona story on its own was quite good, and I give that a pretty high 8.
What do you think of the Area Zero?
Area
Cat?
Zero was really good. I give that like a pretty high 9 also.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it point 0.5 or 2 or anything like that because that just makes it more complicated. I just say a high 9, like close to 10 if because the it was
Yeah.
still Arvin's story in the long run, but it was great in the end of you get to see how this came to be. Why is Scarlet and Violet a thing? And stuff like that. That was great. I loved it. I enjoyed it.
Hmm.
I hope we get more of that in the DLC if they bring
Yeah.
DLC.
Yeah. What else did you enjoy?
I enjoy the open world, regardless of the problems, right?
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I know where things are, except for the Pokemon, because of I still have yet to memorize that with how often, excuse me, I've played it. It's just the problem I have is memorizing. Uh, if I memorize this, I'm going to lose some knowledge on something else because this is the newest game. I might as well forget about, I don't know, Sword and Shield. Who knows, right? Locations of Pokemon as the example to do this, and I don't like forgetting. I want to try to
Yeah.
keep that knowledge in at all times, and learning this stuff. I understand there's a lot of Pokemon. There's 1,008 Pokemon out right now. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm upset that I can't remember every Pokemon's name. I'm already having a hard time remembering which generation Lucario is in. He's
Yeah.
Gen 4.
Yeah.
I keep thinking he's like Gen 5, Gen 6 or something, right? But he's
You're the
not.
one you're the one that usually memorizes the number of Pokemons, but now that since there's so many numbers now, you start to lose track on some of the names and some
I lose
because there's
track of the names because they're all complicated.
yeah. Like you'll think about like I said earlier, like you'll think of like Hypno. You're like, wait, Hypno. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there was a Pokemon you mentioned earlier that I could not remember who that was, and then I was like, oh, I remember now.
Yeah. You have to really trace back.
Volcarona was one of them. You're like the Fire Moth one. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
fuck, who is that? And I almost called him Volcanion.
Yeah.
They have a
Yeah.
similar
That's the thing.
name. That's why.
Yeah, that's what you gotta really think like early on. Like you can always remember Mewtwo, Charizard, or and stuff like that. You know the Pokemon you know very well. That's
Those
impossible to
the reason
forget.
why I know very well is because they're my favorites. Charizard and Mewtwo, the two that you mentioned, are my absolute favorites. My go-tos every time I have the opportunity to choose them. Every time.
Yeah. And even in Smash Brothers, I'll even use Pokemon Trainer or even Mewtwo.
I'm well. I'd like to use Charizard on his own again, but they took that out and
Yeah.
made it trainer
Yeah.
again. But
Yeah.
I still like. I think everybody prefers Charizard anyway. Um,
Yeah.
because Squirtle is too small and not strong enough, and Ivysaur is nobody likes Ivysaur. Like
Yeah.
legitimately, everybody likes Bulbasaur or Venusaur. Nobody likes
Yeah.
Ivy.
But
I
yeah,
do like
Charizard's like
Ivysaur because I think he's a clever design. I like it, but
yeah.
he's the middle evolution.
Squirtle, I've always liked Squirtle.
I like Squirtle because the Squirtle Squad.
Yeah, and the little shades that he wears.
Kind of wish that was an alternate outfit for him in Smash. Not gonna lie,
Yeah. Yeah.
he puts the sunglasses on when he comes into battle, and he's like Squirtle.
You know what we should do for like future podcasts, like since we're doing this Pokemon one here, we should
Do
do one for like Zelda, like I said earlier, and we should do one for like Smash Brothers, and talk our history about it and everything.
yes. Honestly, this is a good start to start a podcast about this stuff. It doesn't have to be just video games either.
Yeah,
And honestly, I'd like to get Scruffy in on this, but the reason why we didn't start it the last time is because one, I forgot, and two,
yeah,
everything was not ready. I'm still looking for somebody to help out with the intro. You guys are still in the dark about what I'm calling the podcast, and I can't wait for you guys to find out. I'm setting everything up. It's going to cost me a lot of money, not going to lie, to make this song. It's a parody version. Think of Weird Al Yankovic making fun of music. I'm doing the same thing. I am trying to make these lyrics podcast related.
yeah. And I know it can only be available in a certain time. Like today, I'm free, and I felt this was the good day to do the
Yeah,
podcast.
and honestly, because of Scruffy being available on the weekends most of the time, would be the best time. But we have to get a specific time from him, and I can't do this before 4 o'clock because I have to start heading to work at 4 o'clock on Sundays unless I get a new job. Then I'm probably going to be off on the weekends because the job I'm going for is a warehouse job where I'm going to try to work the weekdays again and have the weekends off.
Yeah. So it won't be so off on the date. You'd be like, oh, I have to work even though I'm off.
Yeah.
No.
All right, can you come in today? This guy called in sick. Fuck no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No. Right.
yeah, we can. I am gonna call it that whether he joins in on this or not for the
But
podcast.
but hell,
I'm
I'll
still
be
gonna
more
call it that.
available.
You're more
I'll be
available than he is, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Like if I let you know that I'm gonna be busy streaming or recording a video or whatever, I'll let you know.
yeah.
But
We'll
if I'm
we'll
like
push it to another time that you will be more
yeah
available, and if he is a part of this, that we're gonna have to see if he's available during that time too. He's a
yeah
truck driver, so we gotta make schedule
yep
practically around him more than us.
yep he's always on the road. He's
He's
on the road again.
on the road again.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
the rest of
remember. I
it
remember when you sang it last time. You were like, "I forgot these lyrics."
is. Yeah, actually, I was thinking of doing it again. On the road again. I can't
Yeah.
believe I've completely forgot the lyrics again.
But yeah. But yeah. Overall, since I've completed Violet, you completed Scarlet. There is some slight differences when it comes to the music. If you actually fight Team Star, some of the well, you have to really pay attention to the music. You wouldn't even notice it, but since I notice it,
Yeah.
I'm a freak with music anyway. But
Freak with music.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah. But their musics have always been great in Pokemon
I
games. I
think
mean,
they have the
that's
some of the best music out of
yeah.
all the stuff so far,
So
even if
we
I
can
don't like
say
them.
yeah, even we can all say 10 out of 10 is the soundtrack. So I love the music in this game, and but everything else, like the character models look good. The graphics obviously need to be more improved, but I've kind of already said the same thing that I've said a million times now. But I think that really interesting way to introduce a fully open world Pokemon game. Give us something that what could happen in the future, and let's just see what happens. So overall, I actually give a pretty solid. I'm not gonna give it a number. I'm just gonna say it's a solid game. It was still fun. The key word is fun. If the game's
Yes.
fun, then it's not bad. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. I mean, I kind of said all the major things that need to be said at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I,
so yeah,
I'm
ready
music
to close
wise.
it.
I wish I was more into music to understand more about music. Not gonna lie. But oh my god, does the music fucking rock in this game? I love
Yeah,
it. I wouldn't say it's the best because X and Y is still my favorite with the with some of the stuff because their music was
yeah,
great. But
yeah,
that's just my opinion on that. And you guys can be like, Gen 1 into better music because you like 8-bit music more. But
yeah.
honestly, it's just every generation is just a remake of the same song. So my favorite version of those original songs is especially the bike riding one, is the X and Y.
Mm-hmm.
And bike riding music.
So
Kind of wish they
I
had it
wanna
in this game, because,
I wanna
the ride
I
Pokemon
wanna say
is the bike
I
music.
wanna say since we're doing the Pokemon podcast and we're at the end of the video, I would like to do a podcast for myself, like a special one on my channel of Genshin Impact.
Okay.
So yeah, you can join on in if whenever you're available, and I
Yeah,
can do because
definitely.
and then maybe if your audience wants to join on in, be like, hey, check out my channel, and I mean, let me go ahead and plug my channel. If some of you
I
guys are
was
wondering
just
who I
about to
am,
say it. Go for it.
yeah. Yeah, so I have three channels. I'll go ahead and mention the other one too.
Yes.
So I have a main channel that I had since 2008. I do AMVs, which is anime music videos, and you'll be quite surprised on how pretty good these videos are.
Yes,
I've
he
been
if
doing
you
them for years.
you can see the difference and the evolution of his music videos if you like watching that stuff, of how it turned out from being a slideshow like kind of thing
Yep,
to
yep,
what it is now. It looks like he's a professional editor. I've been trying to get this motherfucker to be my editor for a while because he's good at it, even though I'm going to keep it simple and pay him under the table kind of thing, and not like he has a salary or anything, because I mean, like, stuff like that. I,
yeah.
his editing is awesome, guys. Check out his music videos.
Yes, and I do like top 10, top 20 songs on the channel, and I
Yeah.
I rarely have done it reviews. It's been a long time, so that's why I want to do a special podcast real soon. I'm probably gonna do the Genshin Impact podcast probably before Fontaines comes out this summer, which is 4.0. So yeah, so
I,
that's gonna be exciting.
I'm so out of Genshin Impact. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that's the next region, by the way, if you're wondering.
Oh.
So
Oh, okay. Is that the
yeah, that's
No, the Daedra one just came out. Dendra, I mean.
Dendro. Yeah, yeah. So Hydra's the next one.
Hydra is the next one. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that, and my second channel, which is the avatar picture here on my. You're not gonna see it though, but the avatar picture on Discord. I have a gaming channel. What a surprise!
No,
um,
no, what a surprise.
yeah.
Oh,
So
very original.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like
You've
a
been doing it
billion of
longer than I have, though. That's for sure.
yeah. So I am currently playing Breath of the Wild. I'm getting ready for Tears of the Kingdom coming out in a few
Same
months.
here.
Yeah. So
Go
again,
watch
we're gonna
him because he's better at it than I am when it comes to Zelda stuff. Not gonna lie.
hell. I helped him with Majora's Mask with everything. He saw me do everything in
Yes, and
Majora's Mask.
because of that, I know what to do now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was a walking strategy guide. Okay.
A walking, you mean a living strategy guide?
Yeah, a walking strategy guide. I'm gonna walk you through the strategy guide here. Yeah, yeah. So I did that, and then so I have that, and I've recently started playing these Soulsborne games, Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and I got into that. I have an audience with that. I play, but the main game you're gonna see on my gaming channel is the Shining Force games, as I grew up
Yes,
with those.
yes. Oh my god. We need to continue doing that recording. We're gonna have to start the recording over, by the way.
Yeah, because you haven't played in like 2 years, so
Yeah, and I'd like to get back into it, and because it's now on the Switch, we can continue.
yep. And I got my friend Scruffy into Shining. I got a lot of my friends into the Shining series because they didn't know what it was, and then they're like, "Oh, it's like a tactical based, almost like Fire Emblem." Which Fire Emblem is a really hard strategy game compared to Shining Force. I play Fire Emblem on my channels, and they're really advanced. And you can't even have a character die. If they die, they die forever. You can't even bring them back to life.
You die in the game, you die for real.
Yeah, Sword Art.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that the gaming channel, I'm gonna have my PlayStation 5, and I'm gonna start Dark Souls 3 on my channel over there, and it's gonna be awesome, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to finally play it. So and then I have a third channel which is very original. Okay, because you'll be quite surprised to hear about this. I have an Opie channel, which is a if I want to change the term of that name, you're probably wondering what the hell is Opie. It's a breast focused channel.
Boobies.
Yes,
He
mainly
talks about
fictional.
boobs.
Yes.
Mainly
Think
fictional.
about
Yes.
think about finding that on YouTube. You know, when I brought up my gaming channel, you'll say, "Oh, that's pretty original, right?"
Yeah, now this
This
channel
channel
is original.
is
I'm not
yes.
gonna
You can't
lie. I'm surprised that he's got what he has for this. Don't you have this channel somewhere else too, where you're not uncensored?
well, BitChute is the other website. That's all hentai content.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So BitChute is all uncensored stuff, and of course
same
YouTube
name,
and
right? Opie
yeah, over
Suzaku or whatever it's called.
yeah. Well, on BitChute it's called Oversized Tillover, which was my original name for YouTube. Yes, yes,
I forgot about that. I'm sorry,
yeah, yeah.
but yes, um, check him out
You
on
probably
there
see
if you
lots
want
of
to see it
videos on there.
uncensored. You get to hear what he's talking about and stuff like that. He's
But I think
actually quite detailed on this, and he's not sexualizing it or anything. He's talking
yeah,
about
you'll be
details.
surprised.
You gonna be like, wait, you talk about like that? The hell?
Yeah,
Wait, you could talk about stuff like that? Like that? Instead of
yeah,
being like,
yeah, yeah. I think you guys will be
boobies, they
surprised
look
on.
nice. You could play with them. No, he actually gets into better detail and stuff like that.
I
I've
mean,
seen a few of his
I'll
stuff. I don't watch it all the time because I'm not into boobies like that.
yeah,
Big, especially.
yeah, yeah. He's
But
not, but I have a lot of friends that aren't like super into that, but they always tell me like, even though they're not super into it, they do appreciate what I do, and I'm okay with that. Even if you're not super into it, at least you appreciate the content that I do because I have an
nobody
audience with
else
that.
does this.
Nobody, you can't find anybody on YouTube that casually talks about the way I put my mindset like how I do with video games and put it into this.
Yeah.
Think about that. Yeah, that's actually pretty original because usually when you talk about this stuff, a lot of people can't do it. A lot of people get really nervous. They're always distracted, like, oh man, like this is gonna sound awkward and
And then
doesn't
next thing
sound
you
right.
hear is.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like at the same time, I think you guys should give it a chance and be like, even if you're not into the super big size, maybe you'll give it a chance because there's some good dodenchis or mangas or whatever that actually take itself very seriously and it's like very fascinating. And
Mm-hmm.
it's actually kind of like, you know, it's hard for a lot of people to take that type of content seriously, but I do. I find a way to make it serious because no one can do it. No one can take it seriously like how I can. So,
Yeah.
That's what makes it pretty original. I mean, you can't. I mean, a lot of people can't see it that way, but I see it differently. And yes,
Yeah,
you can.
don't think of it as he's talking about porn. He's not. He's talking about just. It's hard to explain it. He's explaining it much better than
Yeah.
anybody else
So
can.
like,
I'm trying to think of a
yes,
simple way of explaining it, but I think he is explaining it as simply as he can. And if you
yeah.
can't
I'll.
understand it, just go see it and you'll understand it even better. I didn't know
There's
what the
been.
hell he was
There
talking about
has
until I
been.
saw a few of his episodes,
Yeah.
and
There has been
I'm like,
some video.
oh,
I have a Discord. I have a Discord server all about this stuff content, and people love it. People are having a good time. It's positive. It's something I've always have wanted for many years to have a group of people talk about that stuff, and also gaming content. It's variety of content, which is good. And you know, shockingly, I have fans that aren't all like oh my god, they're perverted people. No, they're actually simple minded like me. They have very similar
simple
interests like
minded.
me.
That's funny. That's kind of an insult, but I know
Yeah.
what you mean by that.
But yeah, yeah, just kind of like they're not like one dimensional. Like oh, they only talk about that and that's it.
Yeah.
But they don't go into detail. But yeah, that's my channel. If you guys want to check out, it's the Opaifu culture, which is the
Oh,
Suzaku
Paifu.
Opaifu.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah, and so if you check it out, you'll be like, I review characters, and yes, of course, they're appealing to me and everything, but I like to change it up a little bit to where I go into detail about the characters. I talk about, okay, their backstory, or maybe give an example of like how they look that big, right? Because
Yeah.
I like examples like that. Because sometimes in characters, they're real huge, and they're like, okay, how they look like that?
If you
What's the
guys are
backstory
wondering what
behind
he's talking about, he's just talking about the boobs. He doesn't like big girls. He likes big booby girls.
Yeah, with like thin bodies or whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah,
if that
so
helps, because yes,
yes,
there are women out there that have gigantic ass boobs, but they're not skinny. He's
yeah.
talking about the skinny ones with the big ass boobs.
And just to give you guys a warning, these breast size are like
Huge.
like
They don't
like
fit
way
on the
bigger than
screen. They're that big.
yeah. You're gonna see sizes that are like, whoa, this is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, for me, I like to. You got to have something that has exposure, even if it's for the good reasons or bad reason. For some people that has an opinion on it, but give it a unique exposure. Be something that's completely original. Because you want to talk about YouTube. It used to be called broadcast yourself back in the day, and I have that old school mindset. I was like, well, I go online. I'm like, there's gaming channels everywhere. There's politics everywhere. There's this and that. How about a breast focused channel? No one's done it before.
No, they
Let
haven't.
me let me try it, and
If you're not the only one, I'll be surprised if anybody else has made other channels like this. But I'm kind of surprised that this hasn't come out more often because of this. I guess people
I
are scared
I
of
showed
that kind
yeah.
of
It's
stuff.
it's just
Still.
because of it's sexual content. People are like the parents. My parents knows about what I do.
Oh
I have
God, I
custom.
forgot about
I
that. That's
I
right.
have I have custom T-shirts exclusive for my channel.
Yes. His parents are actually very supportive about this, and the reason why I forgot about it is because, well, I don't talk to them about this stuff. I really
Yeah,
don't. And it's not because I'm uncomfortable. It's just me personally. I don't like talking about that kind of stuff because that's not me.
yeah,
I do enjoy this kind of stuff, yes, but that's more of like with my girlfriend.
yeah.
We
If you
talk
want to do
dirty.
like alone, like privacy, you want to do it privacy. And I get privacy is a thing, but like this content, it should be entertainment. I've always viewed it as entertainment.
Well,
Because hell,
technically, it's supposed to be
porn is
entertainment if it's
yeah,
porn.
yeah, exactly. So porn is supposed to be entertainment. So it's and hell, like we're over 30 years old. It's like, come on, like let's talk about something we like. Okay.
Yeah. Well, me personally, yes, I do like boobs, but I don't like them gigantic. Biggest I like is probably C cup. Is C that's yeah, I think it's C cup that I like the most out of all those out of the sizes for the biggest, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
into the more normal.
triple
So
Z's,
yeah,
if that's a thing.
I like the more outrageous. That's just what I'm into because it's fascinating. It's just something different. For someone like me. I
Yeah.
mean, what the good thing is about my audience, they have different, all variety of sizes that they like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the same that I'm into. There's a variety of characters that are like, oh wow, she looks pretty good,
Um,
and you know, So
His
that's why
Discord shows a
yes,
lot of the stuff with how people like certain things and
I'll
stuff like
bring
that.
artists. I'll bring actual opie artists into my Discord server, and they're in the same place in the same like one area, like one spot. This is the first time, honestly, I have not seen it anywhere else that have a Discord server with multiple different artists in one area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's honestly really cool. I mean I'm very fortunate to have a Twitter that I've constantly found artists. And you're like, hey, you want to come and join my Discord server and express your art even more, and then their art's out there more, and then they get an insane amount of followers because of my
Yes,
content.
and clearly has yet to see the furry community when it comes to this type of stuff because he thinks that this is the only place he has. But the furry community, on the other hand, which
Yeah,
for some reason he only has one section for, he should have a little bit more variety for the furries because they do the breast thing too.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not kidding.
well, the
I'm
furry.
not that type of a furry, right? I'm not. But it is kind of hard to avoid it when you Google Pokemon. When you Google
Oh
your
yeah,
favorite show that are furries, you come across that kind of artwork eventually.
yeah,
Renamon being the most popular furry. Oh my god.
yeah, yeah. Funny enough, my birthday's coming up, and I'll be turning 34. Rule 34 will be my year. Rule 34 will be Suzaku 34. Yes.
Susaku Rule 34 is a clever idea.
Yes, and I've already told my audience about it. It's like, oh, that's nice. So you can't miss that opportunity. Hell, if I can live long enough, I'll be 69. I'll
You're
do that
probably
too.
going to live to 69, and if you're still doing it, then go for it.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I mean, I'm already considered a legend from a lot of people because I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing this content for over 11 years.
I didn't know it
11.
was 11 years, to be honest, when you first told me.
Yes. And I actually, funny enough, when I told my friend Drake here about my channel, he didn't. He thought it was like, no, no way.
There's no
Until
way
I
you're doing it. And then you showed it to me. I'm like, you really are doing this.
and then on top of that, you guys are gonna be surprised. Is I show my face just to show you proof I'm not just a voice.
Yes.
I went
He's
above and
very,
beyond and showed my face.
he's very, how do you say this? Brave to do that.
I get that a lot from people. Like, dude, you have the fucking balls to actually pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you're so confident on what you do. You're not hesitating. You're just talking casually, like like, oh, here's a nice pair of tits or whatever. But I go into detail about why, and
Mm-hmm.
that's fascinating. That's original. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's something. I even do story series where I do make up stories of like existing anime series, and I do it my own way, and I tell my own story version of that. It's really fun. So give
I
it a
didn't
look. I
know
know that.
about that, but yes, I've seen a few of his stuff. Sometimes I'll go in to see, hey, you created a new episode. What's this one about? Oh, it's that character. Oh, never mind. You've already talked about that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I'd be like
I'll.
that. And if it's a character that I'm actually interested in, my
Yeah.
favorite character out of all the animes is Hinata. I love her. Don't fucking say anything else, whether it's good or bad. I love her, and nobody else will have her. Not even Naruto. I love her. Like, no joke. I actually adore her. And if he ever
uh,
did a review on her, regardless of the size of the tits or something, even if it was
well,
made up,
I'll
I
tell you
would
this. I'll tell
probably
you this.
watch it.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. I am doing well, currently right now I have returned a series called Battle of the Tits.
What the
And
hell is that?
well, if you watch the videos, I have 4 rounds out right now, and you'll know what that is. So eventually, I'm going to do a what if, where I'll do a section of characters and I'll review them and
Hmm.
review their opie, and eventually I'll go to what if characters that normally wouldn't have large breasts that will actually have them, and maybe Hinata will be one of them in the near future. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
that's what's going to be exciting about that. So
yeah.
yeah, I want to go ahead and talk about that longer than usual because the other two are just something that's been around on the internet. This is something that you just don't see. You don't
Yeah.
see something like this. So give it a look if you actually are interested. You're curious, like how big are these? Well, the moment you actually look at the actual thumbnail, the actual banner, you're going to be like, oh, this is what he was talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe you'll be a fan. You really won't even realize it.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about. I have a lot of my gaming my gaming channel stuff, I'll tell them about the content, and they'll become big fans. They just didn't expect it, you
Yeah,
know.
honestly, don't think, oh, he's just another porn channel doing reviews. No, he's not doing it that way.
You
Just
don't
take a
hear
look
me.
into it. You will see what he means. I understand a lot of the stuff that he's talking about because I actually watched a few of his stuff.
Yeah,
Whether I'm into it or not,
yeah.
I was watching it
But
for
whether
support
if
ish.
you're, yeah, if you are a person that's like, this isn't for me, but you know what? I appreciate what you do because at least you're elaborating what you like, you're passionate about it, and that's all I care about. To be honest, if because I don't want to be an asshole, be like, I wish you liked this, or I'm not gonna be like that. Be like, at least you appreciate it about what I do, and that's all that really matters. If you're a person that's not into it, if
Yeah,
you are into it, then we're gonna be in the same. We're gonna be
in the same
talking
boat.
for, yep. I have a lot of people like that. At first, I've had a few people that were like really indifferent about it until they watched my content, and then they got really into it. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh, I could probably get into this. So I've had that with a lot of people. A lot of people thought D's were the biggest breast size in the world
no,
until I showed them. Until I showed them. Let me show you how big breasts can actually look. Okay. And then they're like, whoa, they can look like that.
they can get
Yeah.
that big.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then of course they're gonna say, how do they walk? And it's like, well, you gotta remember, physics is very different. You know, it's fiction,
yeah.
so they find a way. They have no back problems. So
There's no such thing as back problems in
I know,
the
right?
fantasy world, and uh, I mean, like, if you want to have it
I
realistic, they can just put a wheelchair underneath each boobie.
Yeah. Well, as we end this here, I'm gonna show you an artist that actually is really good on, obviously the ridiculously huge size that it has, but the girls actually look good here, and
I'm not going
I'm
to be
gonna show.
showing this on my channel, guys, because
Yeah,
this is supposed to be Pokemon only. But this is
yeah.
the end of the podcast, and if you guys want to see what he's talking about, go to his channel. And even if I was putting this on my main channel, I still wouldn't show it, just in case, because I
Yeah.
I
So
don't
here's the
have the
picture.
right amount. So, oh God,
It,
oh, they're cute.
yeah.
I had to scroll up a little bit because their heads were covered up. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
So
they're
this
cute,
artist
but
is
let's just say that
yeah.
one of their boobs is going down to their waist and the other one's down to
Yep.
their belly
Yep. So
button.
that's like an example.
Yeah, but they have really cute faces. They're little anime girls.
Yep. So yeah, that's like if
Oh,
you
they're
like.
not naked if you guys are wondering. They're fully dressed and everything in this image.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But this artist is known for the style like this, and I like how it's like, even if you're not into that super huge size, it actually kind of fits the characters because they have personality with
Wait, I could do.
what they have. So, and that's another unique thing too. Is like if you think of them one way, you think of them the other. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, give it a look. I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised. You're going to be more than surprised when you see something like this. And
Mm-hmm.
give it a chance. And if you want to join my Discord server, it's already on the channel as well, so you'll find a link for it. And
Yeah.
if you're an artist, well, you're gonna be in luck. I'll probably talk about your art if it's really good, like this picture, for example, which of course you can't see it, but you know, um,
It's really good artwork. Like, no joke. It looks better than the artists that make good shows like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, and all
yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
Way better looking than that. More
way
details
better.
is what I mean.
Oh yeah, like really good details on the characters. Like I'll even show another one for him. Like this one's really good too. By artwork here.
Okay, this one I definitely can't show at all.
Yeah,
The only thing that's being covered up are her nips, and if she was standing up, it looks like it would be down to her waist with how big they are.
yeah,
But these are small compared to what he likes.
yeah, yeah. So you guys have to like wonder like
She's
what.
a cute redhead too.
Yeah, it's I actually don't remember the artist's name. Here's another picture that I want to show you. This is the last one. Somebody actually made this for me around Christmas, and this has not been on the
Made it for
internet. And I
you?
was, it made yeah, because I actually one of my fans actually sent this to me saying there was an artist that was a big fan of your content, and there's two characters that you liked, and he decided to actually create these two characters for me Christmas. This was exclusive for me, so I'm going to show you the picture right now.
Interesting.
And this picture here, this is an artist that does not exist on the internet. And I posted this on Twitter. I was like, wow, somebody made that for me? Awesome.
Um, the boobies are small. I'm
No,
sup-
they're bigger. They're bigger. It's just the angle. The angle is different.
yeah, but the one on the left, the one in the red, she usually has boobs so big they go down to her knees.
I'm into sizes that are like above the belly button too. Yeah, so it's like
No, because I've seen some of the videos with that character. You would talk about her, and I think she has control over the size or something. I don't know. I can't remember if that's the one you were talking about. But
yeah,
last time I saw the video about her, it looked like it went down to her knees. They were that big. No, they don't
yeah,
droop there or anything. If you guys are wondering, it's they like are nice and round, and they're big enough to go down to the knees. They don't
yes,
droop.
yeah.
They're not
So
saggy. They're not like a
yeah,
ball sack. You know, it looks nice. But
yeah,
I can't show this one definitely because the nips are popping through the outfits and the artist's name, if that's his name on here, is Poxes.
yeah.
Poxees. Take a look at him if he's on the internet. I don't know if he's not. Give him
No,
some
he's
support. I mean, like, this
yeah,
looks
yeah,
great. This looks better than my artwork.
yeah.
And
This
if you
is
guys are wondering, oh, you've never seen your artwork before, take a look at my fucking character.
okay. This is her actual model. This is her actual model.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's that almost looks like Full Metal Alchemist like kind of artwork.
Yeah, yes. So this character's name is Chifusa, and she is from a series called Manyu Show, which is my favorite ecchi of all time. And it is a fully breast focused show, 100%. And if you guys are curious about that one, I mean, check it out if you want to. You know what's crazy though? When this show was made, this is something that I would come up with. I'm serious.
And
And
I don't
somebody
watch
did a
that, so I can't say yes or no on that.
yeah,
But here's the thing.
yeah.
Um, I'm running low on time. In about 10 minutes, I got to start getting ready to work for work and start heading out.
Mm.
But anything else you'd like to plug in?
Um, I think those are the main three YouTube channels. I do got a Twitter. That's mainly my Opie content. Discord, mainly my Opie content. I mean, to be honest, if it wasn't for my Opie content, I would not have the amount of support that I have, the amount of followers that I have. I mean, obviously, it's an appealing page, obviously, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting for it to be overly positive the way it
Everyone
is.
is welcome, not just guys.
Yeah, and there's women in part of that too.
Yeah, I'm saying that out loud because you don't care as long as it's about boobies.
Yeah. Yep. It has to be around that theme, so that's what
Yeah.
makes it unique. So, but yeah. So if you really want to check out, if you're into this size or if you're into a certain size, don't expect just regular big. You gotta expect sizes that are out there. Okay.
Yeah.
So
The reason
you
why
have
I
to.
exaggerated the sizes is because the shit that I've seen,
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not into.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And yeah. If,
everybody's got their own taste. Everybody's
yep.
got their own taste.
Also,
So
if you guys are wondering where I am streaming my content, it's always on Twitch, Drake Fox One. Sometimes he'll show up on there too, especially when we're playing Genshin Impact. And if
yeah.
you are wondering what my main channel is called, is actually just Drake Fox for YouTube. And you guys are seeing all of this on my Pokefox version. It's not probably not going to be keeping the title
I
official. I'm just starting it off this way as Pokefox version because Fox Pokemon are awesome. They're one of the
yeah.
most popular. If you are like, no, they're not. Evolutions, all foxes. No, no, Espeon's a cat. She is a fox with a different tail. Yes, based off the cat. And as Josh put it, you know who he is.
Oh yeah.
He says that Jolteon is a dog, and I'm like, he's still a fox without a tail. Look at the ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes,
So, but yeah. That's kind of it. Like for plug-in for me, really.
yeah.
So.
Um, I'm curious if how many of you guys are actually interested in this. If you guys are actually into this, and you actually check this stuff out, let me know. I would like to know how many of you guys from my place went over to his
Yeah.
because he's already got a huge community, gigantic.
Yep. Just like the breasts are. Yep. But I think that you guys will be really surprised, and who knows? Maybe at first when you look at the size, you think they're too big, but then you'll be like, wait a minute, they're artistic. At least they look
Mhm.
different.
Mhm.
So
They don't
even if you're not
sag
super
either.
into it, yeah, and they're drawn very well, and that's the point. You got to make it appealing like that.
Mhm. Unless
And
you are into saggy tits, then this may not be the place for you.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if they talk about
I
sag.
don't, I don't, I don't, I don't mind them like hanging down, but not like super sad, but just kind of they slope a little or drip a little bit, or
I'm talking
whatever it
about
is.
like major sagging. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about like just a little bit. I'm talking about major. No,
yeah,
they don't do that like at all.
yeah,
Like a little bit,
yeah,
maybe due to they're trying to keep it kind of artistically realistic.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There is like a new thing going on called AI art, which is
Yes,
everywhere. So
and I've seen quite a few of it, especially the hentai
it's pretty
stuff.
good. It's really good. It's really good stuff.
The only time it ever messes up with the AI one is the fingers and toes,
Yes,
and
there
that's
are
when you
like
can
stick
tell,
figures. Yep. So
or
that's
fused fingers.
yeah, so that's kind of it. So if you are an artist and you draw and you maybe are like interested in this stuff, and I could shout out your art. You never
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly.
So, but
Don't be
yeah, that's
scared.
about it.
Attempt it.
Yeah,
See if you
yeah.
like it.
If
Nobody will
if
know.
you're passionate about what you do, just do what you do. Do what you like to do. If you're into whatever fetish you're into or whatever hobby that you're into, don't be scared. Do something that you think is original for you. If I can do this, anybody can do it, even if you try. Okay, I mean, if it's got to be an inspirational thing. If you see somebody you like, you're like, man, he's talking about breasts in a way that I never even imagined somebody would do.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was a separate person and I looked at this channel, I would be overwhelmed. I'd be like, wow, I can't believe this actually exists. And I'm actually a fan of my own content. I watch my own videos because you just don't see the content on YouTube, and that's why I have to praise it that way, because most of the time when you do videos, you kind of are very skeptical because you created the content. You want to find out if the video is good or not. I always make sure to try to get the video right.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Sony Vegas, and then I always
He's
edit my
picky.
videos. Yeah, so I gotta get it right. You know. Well, actually, funny enough, I'm not a Virgo.
What the fuck is?
Virgo is a picky. It's
Oh,
a picky person.
oh.
So
I was like, what the hell does that mean?
yeah, we know who a Virgo is. It's Scruffy.
Oh, he is.
Yes.
Mm. That explains
Yes.
why he doesn't like anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. I mean, that's all I can really say. I mean, this has been a very long podcast, but a very fun one at that.
Mm-hmm.
I've really been.
I usually
I'm
don't
glad.
want to make podcasts longer than an hour or two, but this one's an 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And honestly, because this was the review, I think reviews would be a good way to have it as I wouldn't say as long as possible, but have it longer because they're reviews and you like to hear their opinions on it. And because we were doing Scarlet and Violet, I did Scarlet and he did Violet, and we don't know the other games quite yet, even though I have started Violet. It's exactly the same as Scarlet with the way it starts out. I can't say there's anything different besides the professor and the color of the clothing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
ready to close it? Let's do it.
All right, that was the end of it, guys. Thank you for watching or listening, because if you guys are watching and staring at this blank screen with just Pokemon Scarlet and Violet logo on it, congratulations! I am so glad that you did that because why? But
Yeah.
also, there's no prize for it. There's nothing secret that I'll be doing. Nothing will pop up. Yes, you may have seen my mouse show up a couple of times because I accidentally moved it, but uh,
By the way,
guys,
are you on webcam? By the way,
no,
okay. Because
no,
the last one that we did, you were on webcam.
yeah, but I took it out.
Yeah.
When I edited it, it was just the screen, arrow pointing down, up and down for the description, directly in the middle. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one, with our channel names and the links in the description. So hopefully you
I thought
guys
of like
enjoyed this.
ideas. Yes. There
And
would be ideas that, like I said, I'm gonna do a Genshin Impact podcast probably sometime in maybe April or May. I'll let my friend know here.
yes, and when you do, I'll let you know when the best time for me will be available for doing so, because I'm gonna get back into
Hmm.
Genshin Impacts now since we have a much better internet. I'm gonna try to continue the
Yep.
story and all that stuff. And
Well,
if you guys want
I
to watch
wanted to
that, I don't record it. I stream
streams
it
it.
on Drake Fox One on
Yep.
Twitch.
Twitter.
I don't have Twitter anymore. I actually stopped with Twitter. I made two
Yeah.
accounts. One of them was kind of a failure automatically. The other one, I just fucking I just don't use.
Yeah.
I don't use them anymore. Yeah, I do go on the Twitter to catch up with Dead by Daylight and stuff like that. I play that a lot. If you guys are wondering, if you're especially into
Hmm.
horror games, uh, I am into Dead by Daylight. I stream that a lot. Drake Fox One, no spaces, capital D and capital F, and it's the number and not the word one. If you guys come in and watch me during those streams, because it's always on Twitter, Twitch. Sorry, it's Twitch. It's Twitch, guys. Twitch. You guys will see it. And while I'm playing Pokemon Violet, oh my God, I'm recording it so that way I can upload it to this channel. So you're going to see technically raw footage and technical
Hmm.
terms of that, because Scarlet version is edited as episodes, where you're gonna see if it was raw the whole 3 hours that I recorded, you'd see a lot of pausing in the middle every 30 minutes, and you're gonna be like, hurry up, get to the game. So I edited it because breaks, food, bathroom,
Yeah.
all that stuff, right?
And then eventually he's gonna try other games out. I'm actually gonna request him a couple of games that normally he
Shining
never
Force
played before.
being one of them. I want to
Yep.
actually continue because it may be old, it may be terrible with the stuff, and I'm going to be doing it on the Switch instead of as an emulator.
PC. Yeah.
I'm going to do the Switch version so that way I can feel how the original was instead of an emulator.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be interesting when we do that. So
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I
yeah.
mean,
And
very very fun. I would say overall very fun podcast. I mean, I know you weren't ready for it, but you know what? It
yeah.
turned out better than what you thought.
Mm-hmm. I looked up some things real quick to try to write down as a quick review of things. I wrote down the gameplay, the music, the audio, and basically
Yeah.
it's playability, sound, graphics, and in-game purchases. I was
Yep.
also writing
We
down
covered all of it.
battles and walking around and stuff, which was part of the gameplay.
Yep.
But yes, everything turned out pretty good. Overall, Scarlet, for sure, in my opinion, because Koraidon acts like fucking toothless. I highly recommend that. Miraidon acts the same way, so if you want a see robotic toothless, go for it. But I give
Mm.
Scarlet at the very least a 8 out of the 10 review of positivity. If you don't care about the graphics being very bad in the background. Overall,
Yep.
really great.
Yep.
It's that stuff doesn't ruin the game for me, even though it did piss me off quite a lot. Come on, but still,
Yeah.
Violet version. I'm in the middle of playing, just at the beginning, and I did a 3 hour stream with half of its audio cut off. Fuck, but I was just
Well,
doing wonder trades,
I guess
no story.
one last thing I would say is like for future podcasts, since I'm gonna do the Genshin one and then
Mm-hmm.
sometime in a few more months, but I also want to do an anime podcast.
Yeah,
Like 'cause I got my friend in a lot of anime, like Naruto series. Oh my god, the history of us getting the Naruto has been incredible. Okay,
yeah,
and especially Fairy Tail. I love talking about Fairy Tail.
yeah.
Um, and then obviously Bleach.
Mm-hmm. The
The
return.
returning anime.
The return
Yes.
of it, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess it's out right now, but I'm waiting for the full season to drop before I binge watch it because I don't want to watch half
Yeah.
of it and be like, oh, where's
Yeah.
the other half?
Yeah.
I,
So
I,
yeah, I want to do an anime podcast with him, and also you know other gaming content and stuff like that, or hell even a movie like podcast, because there is a new Super Mario movie coming out. I
mhm.
really want to see it.
I hope
I'm
it's better
excited.
than Chris Pratt is acting.
I think that we're gonna give him I'm gonna give him the benefit of doubt. I think that maybe he'll grow on us. I mean, I know he doesn't sound Italian,
No, it's not
like
the Italian part. It's his acting.
yeah.
It's the acting.
I think
But
it would be
yes,
kind of
we
neat
need to save
if
that for a
Ryan
podcast on
Reynolds.
its own.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's a preview to what's to come. So
Yes. Okay.
all right,
Already? Alright. This is the end. Thank you guys for watching and appreciate it. Suzaku over here, go check out his Opie channel, Opie Suzaku. It's really good. It's worth looking into. I am a sub ish because I do go in every once in a while just to see if anything's new.
when
But his gaming channel
when was
I
the last
do
time you
watch
watched?
a lot. What?
Yeah, you've been. I wanted to bring up when was the last time you saw my Opie video? Like when was the last video you watched?
A few months ago.
Yeah, check out the Battle of the Tits videos. Like you'll be kind of like, that's different.
Yeah, I'll
So
check that out eventually. I got to get ready for work. If I remember, I will
yeah,
check it out. And
yeah.
in the future, if
So
you
you've been
guys want to let us know that you checked it out, let me know. And
yep.
I would like to see
I'm
how
gonna
many people
I'm gonna
actually
upload
enjoyed it.
part. I'm gonna upload round 5 on Tuesday. So
Oh shit, 5 rounds. Look at that, guys. That
yeah.
means these boobies are doing something. But until
Hmm.
next time, guys, see you guys out in the fields.
I'll see you guys later. Peace.